What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Culture Pop Season 3, Episode 2. We're here on a Friday night. But as always, I've got my main man, Drewski, here with me, a.k.a. Dolan, a.k.a. I have too many names and I write comics. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. It is a chilly Friday evening here in Indiana. I'm been chilling, enjoying some comics, watching the OG Spider-Man from 2002 with Tobey Maguire.
Nice.
But I'm here to talk comics and pop culture. Let's do this. I'm excited.
Let's do it. If you are wondering why we're coming to you on Friday instead of Tuesday, and you missed my messages earlier in the week, Tuesday I didn't have power because we had, like an inch of snow come through and some ice, and it just destroyed everything around. So we pushed it back, and then Max, who usually does his shows on Fridays, decided to be a loser and not do a show. So I invaded his time slot. And
something about a buffet of crowns to eat. I think it was just a buffet they're offering at Golden Corral. He couldn't turn it down.
Yeah. Oh, here he is. Really, what I did is I just I took him out for a little bit. I hit him with a tranquilizer dart. Came in, swooped in his time slot, sabotaged him. But we've got Max in the chat going, "Hey ho, you stealing my show now?" Well, life happens. But yeah, we have a really exciting show tonight. So, this is going to be shocking for anyone that's watching that frequents the show. But okay, Jamin D, thank you. Yes. Max who? I agree. Max who? We're going to be doing something. I don't know if we've ever done this on my show before, but we're going to be discussing a comic that you're working on. And this might be a little bit of an announcement, right? Or is that right, Drew?
Yeah, so I'm a brand new comic book writer. My first published going to be coming out. Kidding, no, this is I don't know how many is at this point. This is ridiculous. But I've been granted an opportunity to be able to write another comic as my resume, and where to start with this? I was told the premise, and it sounded exciting, and it's amazing when you pitch an idea, you like it, and then you see it evolve, you see the art being produced, and it's like, I love this. This is amazing. I love it. It's just when everything comes together, you have a great team, you have a great publisher who believes in it, believes in you, gives you the opportunity to create what you want, and it's been a blast.
Absolutely. More on that in just a few seconds. But we were going to focus on that. We've got a full kind of thing going on. We've got a special guest waiting in the wings that I'll bring on in a minute. But after we discuss that, we're going to move into some standard culture pop topics. So we're going to be discussing Daredevil Born Again. We haven't had a chance to talk about the trailer. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to talk about the episode titles that were released and go into a few mainstream comic announcements that came out within the past 2 to 3 days that I think might have us excited for our worst of 2025 lists. And
we're off to a good start already. It's only January.
Great start. Fantastic. And then after that, we will move into discussing some of the new comics for this week. Before we bring in our special guest, I do want to pop over to the comments real quick and say hello. We've got Jamin D in the house, as always. Rock on, sir. Nice to see you. We've got Chris here. Hello, Chris. Max is coming in with the tism, because we are tism buddies. We've got Kaiser Jose. What's up, boys? What's up, Kaiser? Cajun Corey is here. Evening. And he also came in with a 8-month membership. This isn't Max's stream. This is not Max's stream. We're kicking that. Yeah, we're kicking that little goober to the curb. But speaking of, there's this guy in our comments named Spencer Voigtman. It's so lonely. Guys, I'm gonna let Drew introduce him because I think he'll do a better job than I do. But Drew, go ahead.
So the gentleman we're going to be bringing in, he is Canadian, first and foremost. He is a retailer, owner of Comic Kingdom of Canada, and now publisher of Blame Canada Publishing. Terrific guy, fantastic sense of humor, great businessman, great guy to chat with. This is Spencer Voigtman.
Spencer, what's up, brother? How are you?
Whoa. It's a goat. The goat is loud back here.
Man.
I'm good.
Nice.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm happy to have you here. We definitely have a lot to talk about. Before we jump into kind of the finer details of the publishing line that you'll be discussing, why don't you give people a little rundown of your history, your retailer, you own a comic shop, what got you involved with that, and then kind of maybe your transition into the publishing aspect.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's it's a long story, but I'll try to sum it up as kind of quickly as I can. I know Drew likes to talk, so But yeah, so basically, I've always been into comics, like most of us probably on this show. I actually had a comic shop when I was 19, and that was like right when Marvel was going bankrupt. So that only lasted for less than a year. So that was my first forte into comic books for a retailer. That wasn't fun. So I kind of stopped for a long time. And then I started doing comic cons, like cosplaying, things like that at them. And then I got a job with Lego as like the booth manager at San Diego Comic Con and New York and things like that, which brought me like right to the forefront of comic books all over again. And basically I owned a gym at the same time in a very small town, and I was so bored sitting in this gym all day waiting for people to come in that when I could go to these conventions and stuff, it was like, let my geek flag fly. I love being a jock too, but you're missing something there. And then I started getting back into comic books, and started doing a little bit of sales on Facebook, group pages, things like that. Started doing the live sales, which I'll give props to my buddy Sean from CE for getting me involved with live sales, because he was the originator of that on Facebook, basically. And I thought it was the coolest thing, the greatest thing, and then I started doing that in Canada here, and I was the first guy in Canada to do it.
Nice.
And it just expanded from there. That was 8 years ago now, and thought I'd finally throw my hat in the ring as a publisher. I've been talking about doing this one comic for years now, and happened to talk to Heavy D. I don't know if you want me to call you Dolan or.
Dude, I'm stealing that name now. It's going to get added into the pantheon of names for Drew. Dolan, Heavy D.
So Heavy D, I talked to him at New York, and I'm like, hey, I got this idea. I want to go with it. I just haven't pulled the trigger. Let's get something going. And we brainstormed like right away, and seriously, within weeks, the comic was started. It was a very fast moving, but I think we've done it great between the team that we've got on the book, the speed that they're doing it in. It's actually like shocking. Doing it as my first, jump into publishing, and this is my first title. I basically look at it, I'm like, well, what's wrong with all these other guys? Why can't they put a comic out every month? Like, what's wrong with all these companies that are like, we do one every 2 months or one every 3 months? So like, that's nonsense, which I'm sure everything will change. But right now, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I will say Drew has a knack for working incredibly fast. And I will speak to when we were at Dallas.
That's what she said.
Yeah, well, that's that too. I haven't heard too many of those rumors, but I'm sure within time. Drew keeps his lady friends away from us. Like, when we found out
to keep them away from this world, because as soon as they introduce them to this world, they're gone.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I remember he was working on a different project, and an idea was kind of pitched to him one afternoon, probably around 7:00. And I think by
Symbiote Willie.
11,
Yeah, Symbiote Willie.
Yeah, I think by 11:30 you're like, "Hey, will you read this script real quick and just give me some quick notes?" I'm like, "Holy shit, dude. Like how did you do this so fast?" But yeah, he's definitely fast at what he does. So you've had your comic shop. I'm shocked to hear that you came in right at kind of Marvel's bankruptcy days, and then still, despite that, despite probably having a terrible, horrible year, fast forward a decade plus, and you're like, yeah, let's do it again. But it's awesome. I think there's something about comics in general that if you love that medium, it's like you can't really stay away from it. Because I was the same way. I loved comics when I was younger, and then grew up and started my adult job, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore, man. Like, come on. And then I got in a job that I hated, and the comfort food that I wanted at that point was comics, and it was around the time that New 52 was launching. So I was like,
right,
it's like a sign from God to jump back in. So I did. But awesome. Go ahead.
What got me actually, that now that you mentioned New 52, I was so bored at the gym that I started downloading comic books online, and New 52. I'm like, I honestly haven't read a comic book really in like 10 years. I have no idea what's going on. New 52 was at like, I don't know, issue like 40 on all the titles. I'm like, I'll start at number 1. And I started, and I read Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash and Green Arrow and Swamp Thing and Batman. And I literally read every New 52 comic book out there. And honestly, most of them were done fantastically. And that's what really pushed me into like, I love comics. Why did I stop doing comics?
Absolutely. No, I get it, man. I do want to kind of transition. So, you're taking another wild leap. I think if you talk to most comic shop owners and if you told them, hey, I want to open a comic shop, I think a lot of comic shop owners would go, why? Because there's not always a lot of money in that. I think some guys have figured out a way to do quite well, but generally speaking, most are like, yeah, get ready for living on a budget. But you decided to even go a step further, and you have launched your own, or you're launching your own publishing line with Blame Canada Publishing. So go ahead and tell us about this a little bit. What spurred I know you kind of mentioned the story, but what was the solid moment where you're like, you know what, I'm just going for it. Like, we're jumping in the deep end.
Well, I've had the name of Blame Canada Publishing for a long time because South Park, obviously, and being Canadian, it makes sense in so many levels. And I did this other comic about a year or so ago, and we actually have the first 3 issues finished and everything. But I don't know. I want to be politically correct here and all that. But basically, my writers became dicks.
It happens. It happens
and,
sometimes.
And I kind of dropped the whole project because it was just such a bad vibe to it. So that kind of put me off a little bit. But then talking with Heavy D here, Heavy D, it was in New York. I'm like, you know what? I got the itch again. And I'm like, maybe we should just do it. And I'm the kind of guy that literally on a Friday, I'll make a life-changing decision. I'm like, you know what? I think we should move across the country. And the next Friday, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna buy a gym and quit my job. But I do plan it out in my head. I'm like, you think about things too much and you just don't do them. You think of the excuses on why not to, and playing it safe, nobody ever gets anywhere playing it safe.
Fair. I completely agree. I am not opposed to taking risks. I don't think I necessarily jump into them as fast as you do. But I sometimes overplay into a fault. So yeah, right. I think there's a strategy there. So you decided you're going to go with Blame Canada and launch your own publishing line. and you worked with some I guess creatives that you didn't care for, stopped it, and what kind of moved you into this new group? Before we get into the book, you gotta source your talent. So how did you learn of Dolan, and then we'll get into the artist and everyone else as well. But how did that process start of kind of handpicking this new team?
Well, I mean, I've known Heavy D for like 7 years, 8 years maybe. Yeah. It's been a long time. So the reason that it kind of happened with you was because of New York, and just seeing you at Comic Mint's booth there was just like, you know what, like it just something clicked, and I'm like, why not? Like, why not? Like, I'm kind of tired of working with guys that I don't necessarily know, and that's kind of what got me into that last mess. Even though they were recommended by somebody, it was just, I don't know them. I'd rather work with someone I know and I can trust. That's a big thing for me, is trust. I could know you for like 20 years, but if I'm like, that guy, I don't know, I'm not gonna go into like a partnership with you, right? So that's what started the whole thing. I was just like, yeah, you know what? It makes sense. Why not? Let's kind of just shoot it back and forth a little bit and see what we got. And yeah, Heavy D, I'm coining that. Heavy D, I'm never calling you anything ever again. He rocked out that first script. Like, I gave him the descriptions of what I want to do for the first like 4 issues. He rocked it out. I'm like, this is great. Let's try get a team together. And he had a couple of guys that he was working with and recommended them to me. And I'm like, I looked at some of their stuff and I'm like, yeah, it looks great. See if they're available. And literally the dominoes just kept falling in line. It was pretty crazy.
Nice. Let's go ahead and discuss the book itself, but we're talking about a little comic called Aftermath, and these are 3 covers kind of teasing the book. So Drew or Spencer, I don't know if you guys want to go into these specific covers and how these came about, and then we'll start looking at some of the other creative team and what's inside the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead, Spencer. Yeah, this is your show.
I mean, basically, like the first one, we just wanted to do a cheaper version for everyone to pick up for a preview copy. Just make it like a blank sketch cover. So if someone wants to get their favorite artist to do it, awesome. It's a cheaper version because as a retailer, I didn't pay for the artwork or anything for that one, so I can sell it cheaper. That's the first cover. The second cover is kind of inspired on what happens later on in issue number 1. I'm not gonna really like give it away too much, but something similar to that happens in issue number 1, and I'm like, that would be pretty cool as a cover.
Nice.
And Aftermath is actually Dr. Dre's album from back in the day that has the same type of image to it. It doesn't have the bodybuilder style, but it has the cloud of explosion and everything.
Heck
so
yeah.
I figured, I'm like, why wouldn't I do that? The name Aftermath, like, the premise of the cover, like it all just worked too perfectly.
So between Heavy D and Dr. Dre, are you revealing that you're a hip hop fan?
I like the D. Wait, no. Hold on. Hold on a second.
I was like, wait a second. My chat's gonna go. They're gonna roast you for that one.
We could edit that out later, right? This isn't live. Right?
Yeah, we're not live. Don't worry about it.
No, we're not live at all. I love it. And then tell me about this third cover, because for me it gives me Alien vibes. So
yeah, totally. So I do like rap, by the way. So the third cover is an Alien homage, like totally. And you'll see, I think we've got a couple of the interior pages, but there's a green comet basically that starts off this whole mess. And the moon's involved too in the that first couple pages and stuff, and I'm like, man, that egg from Aliens looks like a moon. That goo from the alien egg looks like a green comet could be going through. And I was like, that's insane. Like, why wouldn't I like make this happen? And then at the bottom, if you flip back to the cover again there, at the bottom of it, I got my artist to chain all these humans basically together.
Yep.
To make it look like the nest from Alien, right? From the cover of the original poster.
Nice.
And that kind of gives some undertones on what's happening in the comic book too. I'm not going to really say too much about it, but all these humans being bathed in green glowing stuff, it's kind of a bit of what starts this process.
I don't want you to give too much away because clearly I'm all about read it and experience it. But let's get a quick like elevator pitch. What is just the general concept of the story, and what can readers expect if they decide to pick this up?
So it's definitely gonna have like a rowdier type of vibe, like The Boys, that sort of type of thing. Probably no like Ant-Man and a penis kind of thing, but there's gonna be a lot of death and mayhem, and like it's not a kid's comic at all. When we got the premise of it is basically, I think I can talk about it a little bit. Everyone on Earth basically gets superpowers, and just because they get superpowers doesn't mean their body can handle superpowers.
Oh, okay. No, I see. I'm already interested because you mentioned everyone on Earth gets superpowers, and my mind goes to, well, that's problematic because some people should not have powers. But then you add the other element in there of their bodies can't handle it, and I'm like, well, that's a whole other problem now. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. And the first issue is actually almost a prequel to the actual series. So
okay,
the first issue takes place, crazy stuff happens. I don't even want to tell you guys what's going on, or the viewers, but crazy stuff happens, mayhem, everything. And then basically issue 2 is going to be I can't remember now. Did we say 30 years later or 25 years later?
25.
25. So 25 years later, and then that's where the actual series and storyline is going to take place.
Heck yeah. So, Drew, Spencer comes to you. He pitches this idea to you. Where do you go from there?
So he pitches the idea to me, and I immediately tried, because a pitch like this, there have been similar type of stories in the past, whether it be The Boys, Rising Stars, what have you. So it's taking this premise and doing the exact opposite of those. What can we do to differentiate ourselves from those books? And with this, I really feel like what Spencer said, we're setting up this world where everyone gets powers, not just like a small town or whatever. It's like, okay, that's great. But we're actually seeing the ramifications on the human body, the human element. What would really happen? And that's fun to get into. That's very fun to explore. And on top of that, we're going to be jumping 25 years in the future. What's going to happen to this world after the fact? That's even more fun. So I just love the fact how a lot of this, at first glance, when you first hear about this, it's like, okay, I already heard about this. But no. It's actually very different and much more unique than what you've been given before. So that's really the challenge, trying to differentiate ourselves from what's been done in the past.
Yeah. I mean, with storytelling in general, whether it's comics, television, movies, you've got to find a way to make it fresh, whether it's the plot, the characters, how you approach the story. I think that is the biggest challenge that creators face today. And I do like the idea of doing the time jump because you're kind of setting the stage of like, here's an event that changes everything. And let's fast forward and just kind of throw you into the chaos of this world that we've created. I think it's a smart thing to do, but it also gives you ample room to just focus on progressing the story. But you can also look back as much as you want to pull bits and pieces. So I think that'll be really, really kind of cool. Drew, Dolan, Heavy D. Yeah. So you start working on this, and do you kind of reference that you might have an artist in your pocket that you think would be good for this?
Well, here's the thing. So I like to work with great artists. You know, I'm not going to work with, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. Reading stuff at Marvel or DC or some image books, there are some artists that I don't think are good that I would never want to work with. And so I had to ask Spencer, what type of artist do you want? What type of feel are we going for? And he said he wanted an image 90s comic feel to this. I'm like, I got just the guy. Yep. And Mr. Andre Lunatic, the Mad Russian, he is the current image 90s artist. He is fantastic. And I knew he was perfect for this. And thankfully, Spencer agreed.
Yeah. So I'll put this out there, but it's not uncommon for you to pass scripts by me and be like, hey, take a read, give me some notes. And I'm sure not a problem. And you didn't, I don't know. I don't think I got this. Maybe I did. It's a blur, but I don't remember getting the script for this preview, but I remember you come like, hey, you want to look at some pages real quick and give me some thoughts. And I was like, sure, what is it? And you kind of gave me a heads up, and I looked at it and I recognized art right away. And I was like, oh shit. And then I got real excited. But are we allowed, am I allowed to, is it known the other title you worked on previously? Is any of that information out?
It has not been announced yet, so there's going to be like at least 3 other titles with Mad Russian I've done.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'll just say Drew has worked with Andre Lunatic before on something that is not out yet and hasn't been announced. But I got those pages. This is almost a year ago. I got those pages while I was in Vegas, so that would have been April. And I remember being so excited about the art that when I first looked at it, I messaged Drew and I went, holy shit, backgrounds, because there's backgrounds. And then I was just like taking it in. I was like, dude, this looks freaking amazing. Like, this is going to be such an awesome, like, this guy's going places. And it was like 2 days later, I'm having breakfast with oh shit, why can't I think now?
Kelly Jones.
Kelly Jones, yes. I'm having breakfast with Kelly Jones, and I'm like, hey, look at this. And he goes, look at the backgrounds. I'm like, I know, right? Like, everybody else is great, but we're so used to seeing all these just pages that are color washes. So when I saw that you were doing this, and then when I got the premise of the story, I was like, on board. Just give it to me. Like, let me get an IV and just stick it right in. I'll take it. But yeah, let's kind of go ahead and discuss this creative team real quick, because I mean, just looking at it, I think 90s image is a really good way. And even this guy here, and sorry if this was not the intent, but he's kind of got that Clark Superman-esque look to him.
Maybe that was intentional. I can't say.
Yeah,
I can't say.
Yeah, well, you'll have to read to find that out. But let's talk about this creative team that's involved. So I'll let you or Spencer, Heavy D or Spencer, kind of run with this.
Okay, I'll take it. So I lined everyone up for Spencer. I hunted down these guys. I hunted Josh. I hunted. And thankfully Andre came on board. Then Shelby Robertson was available. Thankfully, image legend Shelby Robertson. And on top of that, colorist Dan Kemp, longtime colorist on Spawn and other image titles as well.
Another image legend right there.
Absolutely. We got 2 Image Legends right here, and then Kale Natal, another a terrific letterer. But it's great to have these pieces, but you got to have someone there to have. Oh, my back.
Yeah, you're back. You muted yourself.
Microphone
you're
died.
good now. Okay.
Oh, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, it's great to have a story, but you have to have it make sense. And for that to happen, you have to have a good editor. So I went to arguably the best in the business. He wasn't available. Then I went to Aaron Sparrow, and I asked him if he was available, and he said, "I guess." So
sure.
Yeah, Aaron came on board, and he really dug what we were putting down, and I was thrilled by that. And it's honestly, this all came together in early December, Spencer?
Yeah. I think it basically, like the actual art and everything, like the team was assembled all within like 2 days, and we got like the original sketches for like, okay, here's issue 1, here's issue 2, and it was just like bang, 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 bang. It was so fast. And I was really pushing to get it done before Christmas, because obviously then there's a week of holidays and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I got to get this thing printed. I got to get all the interiors, like even the design of this page here for the credits and all that. We got to get it printed. MegaCon is early February. And man, this whole team it was crazy. It worked like just, I don't know. It worked amazingly.
It was fast.
I have never, ever been a part of a team putting together a comic book this fast, this efficiently, and this beautifully. I've never seen one put together this beautifully, this fast. Normally, this never, ever happens. And this is, a once in a life, lightning in a bottle dream team we put together here. And I am incredibly proud of this book and how it's turning out so far.
Yep. I will say this kind of harkens back to what Spencer was talking about earlier when he mentioned he was doing a first attempt and just the creative team wasn't really jiving. There were some issues there. This is the importance of having people that you have good working relationships with. And if you can get that, lightning in a bottle of a team that you work well with and that you're excited to work with, a story that you're excited to tell and bring to life. And then I think someone like Spencer that's in it for the right reason. He wants to come in, he wants to tell good stories, he wants to get them out there. I think you can have magic happen. And I will say, when I first kind of got previews of these pages, and it was just pencils at the time, I was like, okay, cool, I'll see this in like June or later. and then Drew's like, hey, can we show this? So we're gonna be debuting this at MegaCon. And I was like, he said the wrong convention. What convention? He's like, MegaCon. I'm like, there's no way. So it's pretty freaking incredible. I mean, look, I just looking at the people here, it's incredible. And I don't know how out there people know how well they know Andre Lunatic, but some of these other names are definitely legends. We kind of reference that. People that are watching right now, they're familiar with Aaron because he's on here frequently, and then they've experienced some of the work that he's come in and edited or written, and in the case of Neil before Doomface. But it's just a good group that's come in. So I do want to ask.
It's very. I really hope Spencer realizes this. This is very, very, very rare. What's going on right now? This is so hard to pull off.
So it is, and at the same time, I feel like it's not. And I'm gonna be that guy for a minute. I'm usually a pretty humble guy, but this is how I roll. And it really is like when I say I pull a trigger on Friday, and that's my like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what I do. Like it really is. And like we built a house just to change it up a bit, we built a house in 2010, and that's the same year I built my gym. I bought all the equipment, built my gym, blah blah blah. It was actually happening at the same time. I'd go work on the house in the daytime, the gym in the nighttime, and we had a 3,000 square foot house. I dug my own hole with an excavator and stuff. We had it built, finished, fully finished basement, and moved in 6 months for building a house.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's all about, and I didn't do, I dug the hole, that's about it. But management, right? Time schedules, things like that. That's what I've been doing that since I was 16 years old. I've always been an entrepreneur type of thing. And I really, really, really feel that communication and scheduling is such a big thing. And, I feel as long as that's happening, this kind of timeline, even for us, like, can keep going. I just don't see why it couldn't. What happens is people get sidetracked, and that's totally normal in life for sure. But you need to make up that difference somewhere, right? Like, if that means that you're not going to go watch a movie that night because you got to edit some pages or whatever, that's what you got to do. If it's 3 a.m. and you're like, oh, my whatever, my letterer isn't working out, I got to find a new one. Then at 3 a.m, you look for a new letterer. And that's just how I feel. Like, to keep things on schedule, you got to make all the sacrifices. And that's my jam.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I will say too, if you've never made comics, I don't think people understand the amount of work that goes into it. And a lot of time, if you're with the main publisher, the editor is the one doing the wrangling. When you go to this scale, you guys are the one kind of doing the wrangling and conversing with everything. But you're right, you've got to have that sacrifice there. Otherwise, if you don't, it's not going to happen. And you guys don't have the luxury of being like some editors, I won't say any name, that work for the big two that spend all day on Twitter, and then I don't even know if they know what they're putting out, but they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, go ahead.
And one of the biggest things, pay your people fast and pay them when they are done their job. So
wait, so you mean you shouldn't wait until like 3 months after the book's out and be like, hey, I'll get that check to you soon?
Man, I have tons of artist friends and writing friends and stuff like that, and they're all just like, I haven't been paid from, I'll say it, like IDW for that book that I did like a year and a half ago from them. And that to me is the biggest slap in the face as a creative person, as an artist, as whatever. If you are hired for work, you pay your guys for work. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, so real quick, Dan Kim just messaged me. He said he can't write because he's on the phone. He says he wants to say hi.
Hello, Dan.
Hello. I am gonna just kind of pop into the comments here for a second. First off, I've got to say hello to Zax, who popped in. So Spencer, Zax is another Canadian. So I guess I'll throw that out there.
There could only be one.
It can only be. It's going to be a fight to the death. I do have to circle back real quick before we get into this, because I did highlight Corey's comment earlier for the 8 months. We do have the 8 months. This isn't Max's stream. What I did not do is do the clip for Corey, so I'm going to do that real quick. So Spencer, whenever people super chat, I usually just kind of have a thank you clip, and I blanked and didn't do it for Corey. So let's see what we've got in tow for tonight. They keep changing my stuff up backstage, and I don't like it. We're gonna go with a little Colossus action real quick. Such a badass moment. That's all I'm gonna say.
Love that moment.
Was disappointed when we didn't get more. Also coming in with 8 months, I had the MVP himself, Max Sylvan Priestley, coming in with 8 months. And whenever Max does the super chat, there's only one video that we can play. So I'm going to apologize to Corey or to Spencer right now that I'm sorry you have to see this, Spencer, but it's just wrong time, wrong place. But Max, thank you for 8 months.
Max, I just gifted you a ice cream super sticker.
Ice cream, yum.
All right. Yeah, Max is one of our good friends, and we love to harass him whenever we can. But yeah, Max is on board with calling Drew / Dolan Heavy D. So I hope you know moving forward, you can't put your name as Dolan on comics. It's got to be Heavy D.
Heavy D. All right.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Let's see. Subhuman came in earlier when we were talking about how we got our kind of reintroduced back into comics, but he kind of aligned with us, Spencer, that he started with the New 52. So I came back in, you came back in. I know a lot of people that jumped in around that time. So nice stuff there. And let's see, the ice cream, yum. But yeah, good stuff. Are there plans for, I don't want you to give away plots, but are there plans for where you take Blame Canada next?
I mean, we do have another title that is probably going to get previewed next month. Heavy D is not involved in this one. The artist is the writer. He's basically doing the whole book himself. It's actually pretty crazy. Nice. I can't talk about it too much. What can I tell you? It's basically like a kaiju alien, like no hold bar kind of badassery.
Nice. I sometimes when you have one guy that's doing the entire book, you get magic. And Drew, I'll just say, we saw that recently with Michael Waldron for
Frankenstein.
Delivering the script and the art, and it was just so like, one of the challenges with creating comics is getting that vision passed from person to person. So, for instance, Spencer's got this concept. He goes to Dolan, who's the writer. Heavy D mentions it, then you've got to try to convey that in a script as best as possible. And usually there's a little kind of shift, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Then you got to get the artist involved. It's very easy for things to kind of fall apart in that transition process.
Very, very, very easy. It is incredibly easy.
Yes.
It is. The devil is in the details, and
yes,
the best comparison, the easiest analogy I can compare it to is the telephone game. If you ever play the telephone game, how it starts and where it ends, it can wind up very drastically different. So I try to keep it as similar as possible as we go through the chain. Make sure there's nothing lost in the communication.
Absolutely. And you're talking about devil in the details, throw in an artist that English is potentially not their first language or not a strong language for them.
I talk about a crash course when I was writing Born of Blood. So when I was originally working with Carlos Beccaria and then eventually Aurelio Mazzara, English is not their primary language. So I'm having to pretty much talk to the translator, and I'm having to provide photo references of everything. Layouts for like how hands should look, the angles, the horizons, where we should be looking at the POV. It's just everything. And that really was a trial by fire and a great learning experience and got me ready for this, I believe. Yeah,
you learn real quick how to not use like idioms or slang to try to get your point across. That was my crash course. But absolutely. So no, Spencer, I'm glad that there's other stuff playing though, because I think, especially when you see these independent creators, like truly independent creators come around, I think that's the thing that kind of bums some readers out is, there's this book, they get behind it, they support it, they go in on it and they get an issue. And then it's like, oh, we're not going to get another issue until a year, if not more sometimes. This idea of working quickly, but also having other things planned to kind of keep, some freshness out there is smart.
Yeah. No, I'm going all in on this, and I mean, it'll be up to you, the reader, to see how far it goes. Because if no one's buying this book at issue 3, then I don't know if I'll do an issue 4, right? Because
I
it
mean,
does,
that's how it is a lot of times. It's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, it does boil down to like it's a business decision too. It's a passion project, obviously, but if it's not paying the bills and costing you to like work harder at a different job just to like keep up on this book that's not making money, then something's got to give. But as for now, I'm all in. So we've got this preview issue pumping out. It'll be at MegaCon, so 2 weeks. It'll be actually in people's hands, which is exciting. And then issue 1, I think we're on track. I think we're on track to have it done by the end of February. I really
Nice.
can't see why not.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably have it in people's hands for C2E2. I'm kind of going
Sweet.
for that right now. So yeah.
Now, for people that potentially aren't going to be at MegaCon, is
Yeah.
there an opportunity that they can potentially get their hands on the preview, or
For sure.
is it like okay?
Yeah, no. So I own Comic Kingdom Creative as well, and we've owned that for 8 years, and that is an online shop. So we ship literally everywhere in the world. We are based in Canada, but we ship everywhere in the world. And a few of the covers right now, the ones that you showed earlier, those ones are all available right now on the website. We do pre-sales on all of our new titles. And Aftermath is, another one of our titles. So we're going to be launching 1, 2, 3, 4 more preview covers as well. So we've got these 3, and then we've got 4 more, and that's all going to be available at MegaCon and in the next week through our website as well. So make sure you're paying attention to our socials or sign up for our website newsletter, because then you'll see all the covers. And man, some of the covers to come are like, these are great covers. The other ones are just as good, maybe better. You be the decider on that. But
There's a spicy one that you guys are gonna have to come back and check my Twitter later. That oh buddy, made me feel a certain way. I'll just put it that way. Wawa weewa. Yeah, no, I love it. Is there anything else that you want to cover that maybe you felt like we haven't covered or can bring up? I'll let you just kind of take it from here, man.
No, you know what? Like, this is, again, I've owned Comic Kingdom Creative for 8 years now. It's been a long journey. I feel like this is a start of a whole new journey for me. So talking about this is like, I don't have a lot to say really, because it's brand spanking new and it's exciting, and I can't wait to see what's there. I don't necessarily want to talk about, background of stuff with like the past. It's important, but I'm more excited to see where this goes, the future of this.
Absolutely.
You guys are gonna be blown away. Even issue 1, the stuff that happens in, the preview issue is just like the tip of the iceberg, but issue 1 is gonna be like, holy shit, did that just happen? And then it's just gonna keep getting more and more and more intricate and intense, and the plot, like, there's gonna be a lot of character development where you're not going to see anything coming. It'll just be, what the hell just happened? And that was the most awesome thing I've ever seen.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it and read it. Well, I mean, the full physical thing, I can't wait to get it and read it.
Yeah.
And, I keep telling Drew this, but I think he's getting better and better at his craft, the more work that he does. And I'll go back to these relationships, like him working with Aaron, they're getting better as a team because they understand each other better. Drew, as you work with your artists more, you guys get a better understanding, and it's going to make just for for faster and stronger work. And Spencer, man, I'm excited that you're taking this venture. I think, it's interesting because not too long ago there was all this talk of comics are dying, and even the industry as a whole, there's opportunities there, but we're seeing so many people step up on their own to come in and try to create change and really deliver. And I think that's what the industry needs. So I applaud you for that. It's not an easy task. It's not a cheap task either. So kudos to you for just jumping in the deep end and going for it. Like you said, sometimes you just got to make the decision that you're going to do it and then just go for it. So I think it's great. I can't wait to see what all you guys do. And, I'm excited that you've got other titles in the work to kind of go out there. And for anyone listening, support it. If you want good comics, make sure you support it. I've got his website, Comic Kingdom Creative, in the description. And then in a second, I'm going to go pin it into our chat. That way you guys can go check it out. And then as far as your shop itself, do you ever do exclusive covers? Is there anything you do in that field or no?
That's a huge thing of what we do.
Cool.
We've been doing everything from Marvel to DC to Image to, Dynamite. We've been doing exclusive covers for almost 8 years.
Nice.
So
nice.
You've probably seen a lot of exclusive covers out there and never knew that we were actually the ones that did it. Just because we're in Canada. It's really weird. Yeah. I've been doing this as long as almost anyone in the exclusive game. And because we're in Canada, our street cred is so low. It's such a weird thing. Exclusives in Canada, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I go to the conventions in the States to, New York, Florida, wherever. And my whole booth is exclusives. It's literally like exclusive. In Canada, I do all the cons here. I don't even bring exclusives to the shows in Canada. I don't. Nobody cares. Everyone's like, why would I spend $20 on a book when I can get it for $5? It's like, well,
exclusive, man. Come on.
It's an exclusive. Like, it's more limited print run. It's like, I don't know. My comic shop sells Spider-Man for $5. And it's so weird. So at the Canadian cons, I sell, like old school toys and like, old 60s, 70s, 80s comics, things like that. But it's a whole different thing up here. And not saying there's no one that buys exclusives, but there's a lot less. Like, you guys own probably 85% of the exclusive market. And that's like not embellishment at all.
That is wild. I never would have thought that, but yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So
it is.
Dolan, is there anything you want to add in before we wrap up this conversation?
So I just want people watching to know, just if they've read my work by now, they should be familiar with it. Like, I don't pull my punches on my books. I make every issue exciting, action packed, mysterious, and every issue is going to have a cliffhanger too. I love cliffhangers, but this one, I don't pull my punches either. In this, you're not going to see anything coming when you read this. You're not going to see it coming. Is every page is going to be something different, exciting, hilarious, violent. It's going to be awesome. And I hope everyone gives this book a chance and checks it out, because you will not be disappointed when you spend your hard-earned money on this. You'll be like, I actually got my money's worth out of this. This is fantastic. I can't wait to read the next issue.
Nice. Yeah. I will say, you mentioned the having the cliffhangers. I think that's something that a lot of comic creators have lost that art with their storytelling. And I remember before I left Batman News, I did like a little op-ed piece discussing quality in comics. And it was a little bit about, the quality within comics, but also just when you get outside of the medium of comics, the quality you're getting for your dollar. When you look at, I can have like a Netflix subscription for, this much a month and watch endless, television or movies or whatever. And then now you're asking people to come drop, $5, $10, $15, $20 on the comic. You're asking a lot of that individual. So you want to make sure you give them a reason to keep coming back. And it's one of those things that I just don't do anymore, and that's kind of the fun of comics, is getting to that last page and going, oh God, no, I want more. You know, that pull, that drive. Then you look forward to the next issue. So great stuff. I'm excited about this. We do have the link in the description, and you guys be sure you follow the socials, stay on top of the news. I'll be reporting the news as I'm allowed to per Heavy D here, and we'll keep you in the loop. But go support independent creators, man. That's all I can say.
Awesome.
Spencer, we're gonna move on to other topics. If you want to stick around, you can. If you want to call it a night, you can. It's whatever you want to do. I would.
It's 7:00 here, and I still haven't eaten supper. So
You don't have to explain it to me, man. Like, food first in my book. Like, I'm just like, if I haven't eaten, screw you. You're gonna wait a little bit. But no, man, thank you for coming on. And when you get ready to go with this next title, if you want to help get it out there, just feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to have you back. And I wish you all the best, and hopefully it's a huge success for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you very much for having me on the show. This was fun. It was nice to blast this out to the whole YouTube world, which I need to be more part of. but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was really fun.
Awesome, brother. I had fun with you as well. And we've got Max coming in saying later, Spencer, have a good night. Go get some food. As our friend Wes says, go get your chicken nuggies. Your chicken nuggies.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart was robbed. The great Canadian screw job.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Later, Spencer.
Bye.
See you, boss.
See you, boss. I love it. That was awesome, man. I think that was a lot of fun. I'm always excited when you do something. I get ultra equally excited for different reasons when I see Andre Lunatics doing art, because I just can't wait for people to experience his art. I hope y'all have some pages that are just pencils and inks. Maybe show like a process when you release the issue. But
no, trust me, it's not just with Spencer, but with Marat, because, like I said, by now I will have done. Let's see here, at least 4 projects with Andre Lunatic for Marat. And Marat agrees. We're going to be offering some variants of the projects in pencil form, because it feels like it's almost a lost art anymore in comics, doing it by pencil, because so many creatives do them digitally, and for someone to do it by hand via pencil and inks. He doesn't do inks. He doesn't trust himself to do inks, which is crazy. And I'm like, dude, I will pay you money to ink this. I will pay you more money. He's like, no, I don't trust myself. I'm like, okay, all right. He's got integrity. He's got integrity. He's got integrity. So I really, truly believe he is a superstar that's going to be exploding later this year, if not next year. And once people see his pencils, their mind's gonna be blown. Trust me, he is amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly, I praise the guy every chance I get, and I can't even say too much because stuff's not out yet. But
it's like, I feel so spoiled at this point, getting to work with him so frequently. It's like, as well as Aurelio, and it's just like, I work with these great artists, and if I were, it's just like, I'm on such a hot streak. I don't want to ruin this streak right now and be working with someone that's like of a lesser quality, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Agreed. We're going to go ahead and move on to some different topics. I guess, do we want to do show and tell? Do you have any show and tell?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
So we're gonna still. I don't have a fancy little intro clip. So I've just got this. So you know what, Max? Suck it. Let's see what you've got, Drewski. What do you got on hand tonight?
So the first thing I got. So I was listening to Rob Liefeld's podcast, and he was reminiscing on the Majesty and amazement in the power of Paul Smith and his art on X-Men, the great 1 year he had on X-Men. And I was like, was it really that great? And then I went back and I went out and purchased the Essential X-Men Volume 4. These are, if you're not familiar with the Essential Editions, these are all in black and white. And if you really want to see a penciler at their true form, you'll get the black and white, pencil. It would look like an ink. And Paul Smith, his pencils and inks, just if you look at this, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I truly, I think I really will have to agree with Rob when he says that Paul Smith is probably the best penciler, right next to Mark Silvestri, that the X-Men ever had. And he's a John Byrne fan. He grew up with Byrne, and he even said Paul Smith and Silvestri are probably the two best X-Men artists that they've ever had. And actually, Uncanny X-Men 166, illustrated by Paul Smith, is my very first comic I ever read. This one right here. It was a double-sized issue. This has a panel in it that has been forever burned in the back of my retinas with Cyclops with his eyes being bugged out, being infected by the Brood. This is a fantastic read with a fantastic artist, Paul Smith.
Agreed. I'm with you. Like, if you ever want to see how good an artist is, a penciler is, like, you got to look at their black and whites. Max is, he's saying my show and tell was how cute. Well, I try.
All right. I got one more thing.
Nice.
Last thing. So one of my favorite characters at Marvel, Doctor Doom, is probably it's probably like Doctor Doom is one of my favorites, but another one of my favorites is Namor. As people petulant child may know him as Namor the Submariner. One of my favorite characters at Marvel. And John Byrne and Jay Lee had arguably probably the best run on Namor the Submariner probably ever, right next to Bill Everett. But the omnibus has been long out of print. It is very expensive. I, however, was fortunate enough to find someone selling not only the Namor the Submariner by John Byrne and Jay Lee omnibus at a low price, but also the Jay Lee dust jacket. So I got this bad boy on eBay. Yeah. Namor the Submariner by John Byrne and Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee Phase 1. This is what Jay Lee looked like coming out, swinging for the fences, coming out the gate.
Yep.
And it's got all these issues in the back. This is primetime Jay Lee. It is beautiful. I love John Byrne, but when you go to Jay Lee in this, like, holy crap, who the hell is this guy? It is incredible. There's practically no backgrounds. It's beautiful. I love it. So much ink. And what's even funnier is I got to talk to Jay Lee once, and I asked him a year ago, could you be able to draw like this today? If I asked you to draw Namor the Submariner in this style, could you do it? He said, no, I physically cannot do it. So there you go. I'll take that for however you want to, but this is beautiful. It's a beautiful run, beautiful creatives, beautiful art. Anyone go out there and check this out if you can. This is one of the best omnibuses omnibuy out there in the market.
Nice. Yeah. Max says that's a thick boy. 3 C's. 3 C's. He's thick. Real quick, I do want to say Cajun Corey's coming in and he's heading to bed. He said good night. Got to work tomorrow. I'm right there with you, Corey. Don't worry. But have a good night, brother. Thank you for being here. As always, I appreciate the support. And Spencer has left, but Michael Sallow did come in and say, see you, Spencer. Going to send an emissary to MegaCon to pick up your book and anything Drew is selling. Heck,
outstanding.
Yes. That's what you got to do. Get in touch with people that are in the know or there or whatever you have to do. I'll do a quick show and tell. I showed you this right before we went on, so I'm gonna rub it in a little bit and then eat crow a little bit for rubbing it in, because Max was talking about needing to pick this up, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have that. I need to pick it up. So I ordered a little little Batman Road to No Man's Land omnibus here, and I was like, yeah. And it came in, and it was nice and all shrink wrapped. And I'm sad to say that I'm a little disappointed because the first like 20 or so pages has, I don't know if you can see, but look at that up top.
That hurts.
Oh man. And if I turn it this way, you can see. But the pages came like they were stuck together, uncut. I don't know what happened. But
it was funny. I've never owned or seen an omnibus like that before in my life.
I haven't either. So it's wild. But yeah, here let me get this because I can show this to kind of give you guys an idea. But you've got actual pages that are stuck together. So I was trying to go through page by page and just neatly as best as possible get them unstuck. But I don't know, man. I know this came out. They were testing new printers and stuff, and maybe this was just the sad fact of that, but it makes me sad. So, but oh well. Yeah, Max. Oh no. So, Max, hopefully when you get your copy, it doesn't look like that. I got it. There was a comic shop, an online comic shop that I got it from. So we'll see, because they're not the easiest to find right now. I'll just put it that way. So, anyways, I can still read it. I can still enjoy it, and it's still gonna look pretty on my bookshelf. So, Drew, Heavy D, hi. So we're gonna kind of get into some culture popped aspect of tonight, and there's a little TV show that's debuting in I think like 2 months ish, a month and a half, and so it's a little show called Daredevil Born Again. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of the Dirt Devil, the vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Is it the same thing?
No, it's a little different than that. Apparently, it had a run for like 3 seasons on Netflix or something. I don't know. It's like I don't know if people watch that, but it's on Disney Plus now, so now it's legitimate, and everyone's gonna watch it now because it's Disney Plus, right?
About a vacuum cleaner?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they started selling vacuum cleaners on Disney Plus? Like, what kind of racket would that be?
I would not be surprised at this point if somehow they made a show dramatically compelling about the production of the vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah, no, I would not be surprised at all. But roughly a little over a week ago, and again, apologies because we had other shows we were doing, and this Tuesday, but they released the final trailer for Daredevil, and I figured we'd go ahead and take a little look at that and EFAP it some. So I'm going to present my screen. Possibly. There we go. And let's get this bad boy pulled up. And we're going to come over here. We're going to do a little maximize action. And we're gonna see what this trailer looks like and kind of discuss it a little bit along the way, so I don't get shut down. We don't want the popo shutting us down. But let's see what this trailer has in store for us.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
So right away, I'm kind of on board.
Hey, you got my attention now. It's like
you have my attention. It's a nice start. I don't know if you noticed, but Wilson Fisk is wearing a wedding ring, so he's married. We'll see if it's to Vanessa or if it's to Typhoid Mary or who. What's that? Who he was married to in the comics?
Well, it was both. If it was Vanessa, then he wound up marrying Typhoid Mary in the comics too.
Recently, it was Typhoid Mary, though, right?
Yeah.
And that crazy where they Max's favorite moment where she boops him or he boops her. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, let's keep seeing what this has in store for us.
A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
The mayor serves his city.
So real quick, Karen and Foggy, they're here. We're getting them back, which almost didn't happen. Which I don't know what they were smoking some shit with that.
Yeah. So let's. Do we want to talk about the I don't know. We're going to talk about the beta version of this. The version, the rough draft of this.
Yeah, the initial pitch, or the initial, not even pitch, what was going to happen
was filmed. It was filmed.
Yeah, they were going to get killed pretty much at the very beginning of the first episode, and then just move on without them.
Yeah.
And then you weren't even really going to get Daredevil until I was like eight episodes in or something. Like you weren't really going to see him as Daredevil. Like what the heck? So yeah, no, I'm glad that's not the case. I'm glad they scrapped that whole idea, scrapped the creative team. They brought in new writers. They brought in a showrunner, and that's kind of because of the writer strike, but it worked out incredibly well. And they retooled pretty much everything. And there's a few elements that they're keeping that we'll talk about in a second, but like the initial story, those first 18 episodes that was going to be season 1, you weren't even going to have Fisk and Charlie, but Daredevil, Matt Murdock interact until the end of the season. They were just going to be two separate paths slowly coming together.
And you can't do that. We already had that in season 1. You can't repeat that again. Agreed.
But I like what they did here. They're kind of acknowledging, that this Netflix universe exists. They're acknowledging that there is a history here and that time has passed. I'm sure we'll figure out how much time has passed. But in the MCU, if you take the blip, that's already 5 years plus whatever time span. Don't laugh. I'm calling it what they call it.
It's just yeah.
Yeah. No, agreed.
It's called a bad decision.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been okay, but they didn't do the best stuff with it. But you've got Fisk telling Matt he's moved up in the world, which makes me think, the law firm is doing well, and they've kind of made a name for themselves. And then we find out that Fisk is the mayor of New York. So already really good elements here. I think the question is going to be, does it look like they're going to water things down with the action and kind of shy away from the darkness of the net? Or are they going to deliver that as well? So let's keep watching.
And the other question, naturally, someone like Fisk, who, I mean, Kingpin is, is the bad guy. How much? Because we've seen them do this in the past. I'm not injecting my own thoughts into this. How much Trumpism? How much of a Trump are we going to be seeing in Fisk in this?
Yep. Yeah, you're going to want to be careful with that because, I mean, like, at that point, it's just already like, all right, okay, sure, carry on.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing people. We're going to see them wearing "Make New York Great Again" hats.
Oh God, please don't. Don't give the MCU any ideas. I honestly, though, the other question to ask about Fisk is, Disney has taken 2 swings with Fisk, and they've kind of missed both times. They started off fine with Hawkeye and then kind of ruined it. Well, not even kind of. They ruined it towards the end, and then they made it even worse in Echo. So it's like, oh my God. And
remember when this guy chopped off a guy's head through the damn car door? Remember remember that? That's how vicious this guy was, and you brought him down to this level. It's like, what the hell happened?
Well, remember when he spent like barely a year in prison, and he had the whole prison system in the palm of his hand? Like,
Oh god, one of the best season 2. I loved it was
Yeah.
when he's in his cell, or is it season 3? I forget, season 2 or 3. He's getting ready to eat his like steak or whatever, his meal. He's like yells out, "Quiet!" and everyone just it all just goes quiet as he's getting ready to eat. I love that scene.
season 2, man, season 2.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is in store for us in this trailer real quick.
I can see you're not entirely convinced.
Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
So
Oh,
So that I'm really curious to see what happens here.
so
you've got
it
that-
looks like from that angle, one of the horns is missing too.
It is.
helmet.
So something we're clearly going to get some type of backstory of something that's happened in the years that we haven't been able to watch because there hasn't been a show. That forces Matt or pushes Matt to stop being Daredevil, and I'm really curious to see what it is.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
Looking like we might get some decent violence.
Get some blood.
This whole-
We actually see some blood.
Yes.
Wow.
What? Some blood? Who would have thought? I will say so far, and the only dialogue we're getting right now is just these two's conversation. But the conversation that I'm getting feels as close to what we got in Netflix as I would have imagined on Disney.
Yeah.
Plus.
Yes, and this conversation they're having, it's reminding me of that scene in season 2 when Matt goes to go visit Kingpin in prison.
Yep.
And it's very much reminding me of that. You're wondering like who's going to make the first move after this.
Yes. At 100%. And that makes me excited because the Daredevil Netflix shows were intelligently written and really pretty damn tight in terms of their scripts. Like they
must see TV. It was must see TV.
And Disney Plus, Marvel has not been delivering that really at all. Maybe give or take some moments in certain shows. So hopefully this isn't just a moment, and this is the tone that we get for the entire series. Let's keep on going real quick.
See, can't go unchecked.
Wilson Bethel, by the way, coming back as Bullseye. 100% Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is the one that made that happen. They weren't going to have Bullseye. Yeah. They were not going to have Bullseye. William Bethel was not brought in to do the original 18 episodes. And when everything changed and they had to go on hiatus and we're retooling everything, Charlie was the one that was like, we have to have him back. Like, based on where we left off, we cannot continue without his character. And I think
it's remarkable. It's like so I did not know this even after all the fallout and everything that came out from like the first draft, if you will, of this new season that they filmed originally. It's like I have all these so many more questions now. I'm like, what the fuck happened in this new season? It's like, was it just in the courtroom every damn episode? Is that it? It just sounds like it was incredibly fucking boring.
They made it seem like that the original 18 episode season 1 was going to predominantly be like a courtroom drama.
That's not what we want. That's not what we're coming to Daredevil.
No, and it's not to say that people don't want to watch courtroom dramas. Like they exist, they're popular. But when you're talking about a Marvel property, I don't want a freaking courtroom. Like if the Netflix show balanced it well. Because it showed the struggles he was having in his life as Matt Murdock, the lawyer, juxtaposed with the struggles of him as Daredevil, and that balancing act of him trying to manage both. Also, even thematically and metaphorically, of upholding the law from a legal standpoint and an illegal standpoint, because the law sometimes fails. Yeah, really good stuff. I don't know what they were thinking with those first 18 episodes, but I'll kind of give some thoughts.
Subversion of expectations, lowered expectations.
Yeah,
and
but in the wrong way, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah, very much the wrong way. Yeah, I think it's just that Sana Amanat, Shamalama Ding Dong method of Marvel storytelling, where it's like action, testosterone, that's all bad. Let's just have people talking for 45 minutes for each episode.
fun little crossover here. We got the Red Hood popping up in Marvel. Who would have thought?
Whoa! I was thinking that it was it Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker, or is it Ed Brubaker?
Oh, yep. potentially. All right, we've got roughly exactly a minute left, so let's see what else is in this back half.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
So I do want to try to go. Yeah. Oh,
so
no.
I'm not gonna. So the camera work that I'm seeing here, it looks beautiful. How this is all shot.
So the two guys that are like directing this are the guys that came in and took over Loki for season 2. And I know everyone's thoughts on Loki. I hated season 1. And somehow they took that shitstorm of a mess of Loki season 1 that Michael Waldron wrote, the freaking loser that did Multiverse of Madness, and all those bad ideas. They managed to take that and in 6 episodes deliver something that told a really strong story. And they did great filmography. Their cinematography, everything on board was pretty damn strong, all things considered. I have faith that they can deliver a good show, but people have to just get out of their way. So we'll see. But yeah, I did want to stop here because Muse looks fucking creepy as shit.
It's comic accurate. That's how he looks in the comics.
And I don't expect him to be like a major player. Like I wouldn't be shocked if this is actually a villain that's only there for like an episode or 2.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the initial incident that causes Daredevil to go into retirement. Maybe something happens with this guy and it stops.
Possibly. For those of you not familiar with this character, he does paintings, but he uses people. He'll murder people and then use their blood. So really creepy character, really dark. And this is for me
Very
another sign.
Art.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me though, this is a sign that this is leaning more Netflix and less Disney Plus, and because of that, I say bring it on.
There she is.
We're talking about Vanessa. Yeah, I want to. Oh, come on now. I want to go back to. Also, I don't know how well this is known, but Vanessa wasn't originally. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can stop this on the right frame. They had to recast Vanessa. They had a different actress that they were bringing in for those original 18 episodes, and people lost their shit. So they're bringing Vanessa back, the original actress.
It's just like when you hear all this stuff, it's just like, what the fuck were these guys thinking? I don't understand it.
They weren't. I'm gonna hit play and try to pause real quick because I want to catch this on a certain frame, but give me 1 second. Right there.
Now I see it. Now I see it.
So if you remember the first season, there was this whole thing about a painting, rabbit in a snowstorm. I'm going to assume this is it. But then you've got the blood there. And I need to go back and watch the full Netflix run before we get into this. I can't remember if that ended up getting blood on it in their fight in season 3.
No. It did not, from what I recall. I do remember when Bullseye reacquired it, before he was Bullseye, there was like blood like on the bottom of it, but not on the canvas itself. Now, I may have to go back and watch. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is like a tie-in to Muse.
I believe so.
And
I believe it is. I
Yeah.
think it is. Yeah. That's what
so
I'm going with.
all good signs for me so far. Let's keep it going. We just got a little bit further to go. Ooh.
Yeah.
Am I putting the hatchet down?
One, I will take him as Punisher all day long, and I feel like he actually worked best when he was on Daredevil as opposed to his own series.
Yes.
And I liked the tongue in cheek of put the hatchet down, aka bury the hatchet.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering too if Frank is potentially going to be involved in crossing the line for Matt as well. Yeah.
I'm sure. I think Josh, we're probably thinking the same thing. I'm sure it's going to be a storyline in this, or maybe it was in the original draft where there's going to be a police and the Punisher thing going on, where the police are rooting for the Punisher, but people are like, no, don't be doing this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they lean into and what they don't, because that could, if they lean into certain things, it's definitely going to harm the series. I'm crossing my fingers that they don't, though. So
yeah,
we shall see.
I was raised to believe in grace.
Real quick, that is Gandolfini.
Yes, it is.
And it looks like he is potentially playing someone that might be Fisk's son.
Yes.
Is it Bull? What is it? I can't think of his name now.
The Rose.
Yes. So I don't know. I feel like whatever we get of him here possibly is going to be very minor. And I suspect that they're going to develop him to build him up for future seasons.
We'll see. I mean, because if anyone's watching, if you're not familiar with the character, the Rose, he becomes a very prominent villain in the Daredevil and Spider-Man world, Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
So, and he's a good actor, and we'll see what happens.
Agreed.
Race. I was also raised.
Ooh.
To believe in retribution.
Okay, I don't
know how I feel about this.
Okay, I was gonna ask. I'm excited to see one of them. I'm just gonna say that, but I like the black suit. I wouldn't mind seeing the black suit in television. That's just
you mean one from the 1990s, the one that they.
No, sadly, I mean the one from Charles Soule's run.
Oh, that yes,
Yeah,
yes. It looked so cool because he had like the red bands around his hands and everything.
Yeah,
it was a cool costume. It was a cool different take on it. I dug it.
Yeah. So that you've got the gold, the yellow mask, which unfortunately we saw in She-Hulk. But I appreciate the historical aspects of it, and I understand that. But the black mask is right next to it, so I kind of hope we see a black suit at some point. Maybe not this season, but at some point.
Me too.
We also got to see White Tiger in this, who seems like he's going to play a semi-prominent role. And
he's one of the carryovers from the original. Apparently, everything that was shot with him is carrying over to this. Because and I think that actor had actually died not too long ago.
I believe so. I believe you're right. I do want to say I'm curious to see, because I feel like some people, if you don't pay much attention, and especially in this trailer, Muse, the white mask with the black marks, White Tiger, the white mask with the black marks, they're very similar. And I think it's interesting they have both of those characters in this roughly at the same time. But I mean, that's a minor gripe. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just God, I just got distracted by the costume. Before we saw some angles of him in the costume. He looked like Daredevil that needed to go on a diet. But I mean, scenes like this in the shadow and darkness, it looks good. It looks really good.
Agreed. It looks like they made a costume that allows him more movement as an actor, which I
Yes.
understand, but it also made it look cheap. So hopefully, this is kind of what we see and get from it, and not the rough looking stuff. Because even the cut, it almost looks like a jumpsuit, which fine, but it makes for in real life. And I get these costumes are jumpsuits in comics, but when you do that in real life, you end up having space in certain areas where it does. It makes you look like you're putting on some pounds, as opposed to him having almost like the combat-esque military type pants with the fitted shirt, or the armored costume like you had in the Netflix series that gives your body the proper shapes, the proper silhouettes. So yeah, we'll see. And clearly he's in some type of underground layer here, beating the shit out of Muse. So
I dig it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a violent show.
We're going to begin some compound fractures. Quite a few of them.
I will say though, if pretty much all the violence in this series just got recapped and strung together in this trailer, I'm gonna be pissed. There better be more. And I hope to God, I haven't looked up to see who their fight coordinators are. I'll have to go back. Part of me feels like they got someone that they used at Netflix for before, but I can't remember. I don't think it was the Daredevil guy though.
I think it's a John Wick guy they got
for this.
I think it's one of the John Wick guys they got.
Maybe. I'd have to go back and look. So much has been announced and then changed because of everything. But I'll have to go back and look at that. All right, we got just like roughly 10 seconds left. We're gonna close this out real quick. Creamy. Oh. Oh, Disney Plus.
It's amazing. After all the shit we've sat through and seen, to get a trailer like this, it's like, where the fuck has this been?
Where has this been?
Why couldn't you guys do this like the last 5 years? I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, part of the problem was they did this whole thing where what you typically hire as the showrunner, they were hiring to come in and they were writing these scripts, and then they were letting the director come in and just take full range of whatever they wanted to do. And this was the downfall. This is what I mean, it's not the only thing that ruined Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion should have been a Avengers film. But you had I think his name is Michael Bradstreet, but he's the guy that did Mr. Robot, and he came in and wrote, from what I understand, really freaking good scripts. And then you had this Yahoo of a director come in and completely just rewrite and change shit. And it was like, why would you take a nobody who hasn't had a successful career, because the guy hasn't, sorry, and ruin what a talented writer brought to the table? But we'll see. But overall, honestly, I thought that was a good trailer. It has me excited. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but I'm gonna cross my fingers.
Same. Yeah, because look, the way where I'm at right now is that Marvel needs to earn my money, my trust in them again. They've lost it. I'm not planning on seeing Captain America. I'm sorry, Falcon Cap. But this, I will check out, the first episode, and if it's good, I will continue it. Usually I have a roll of 3, but with Marvel, I got to give it one episode, and I'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're not the only one that Marvel had built up a lot of good grace, and they squandered it, really quickly. And it's their own fault because it was like project after project after project after project that was it just either abysmal or not great.
Assembly line, same
Yep.
stuff. And it's just people they're going to keep coming. They'll keep coming back.
Well,
they're going to.
And that's what I was going to say. The MCU got the same. They had that same arrogance that Marvel Comics themselves have. Of it doesn't matter what we put out, they're going to buy it. And I think we're seeing and have seen that in both cases, that's not true. Like they're going to lose business, and they have been. So I think Kevin Feige knows that he's got to deliver, especially with this, because if there's anything Marvel that's beloved, you've got your End Games and Infinity Wars and Winter Soldier, you've got all of that stuff. But from a television aspect, the one things that Marvel fans have just really held on to is the quality of Daredevil. So not only do you need to deliver to help save your line, but you've got huge shoes to fill. And I applaud Charlie Cox for coming in and being as vocal in a positive and team player way as he was with this. And I know John Bernthal as Punisher is the same way in a lot of aspects of he wants to make sure he respects the character. So I think that you've got good people coming in that really want to deliver quality work for themselves, for the network, but mainly for the fans. So
yeah, they've got artistic. I mean, they've got artistic integrity, and especially Charlie Cox. I mean, he's been a part of this franchise for who knows how long now at this point. Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Yeah.
And so he knows the tone. He knows what it should be, and good for him. Helping make this happen. And it's great seeing everyone come back. It's great seeing Vincent D'Onofrio back. Arguably, the best, if not tied for the best villains out of all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep,
probably the best. I'll just say the best. He has been the best, and it's great to see him back.
I mean, Titania from She-Hulk gives him a run for his money, but oh man. I do want to look at, because the other thing that released, I think like a day or two ago. So the first season now has gone from 18 episodes to 8 episodes, and they released the titles in no specific order. They just kind of put them out there. But I was kind of interested with some of these. I will say I see the title Excessive Force, and I immediately go, oh God. Because I think police aspect, but I'm almost wondering if this is going to be the first episode and that kind of covers why Matt steps away from, what he's doing. But you've got some other things in here that I think are interesting. Straight to Hell almost sounds like it's going to be maybe the season finale. Like we're taking you straight to hell, Daredevil. Why not? Heaven's Half Hour. This for those of you that don't know, that's from Revelations. It's the 30 minutes of kind of like peace before that last seal.
It's gotta be that's gotta be the first episode. I guarantee it.
You think Heaven's Half Hour is going to be the first episode?
I think that's a perfect title for it. Everything is perfect, everything is fine, and then it falls apart.
I mean, maybe. I almost feel like that's gonna be either the like penultimate episode before ending the season, or it's gonna end up being the season finale, which is only gonna lead. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this first season ends on cliffhangers that are like, "Holy shit, we are fucked."
This could be the midway. It could be the midway point, like the Eye of the Storm. That could be like
the hollow of his hand makes me kind of wonder if that's a Christ reference too, from crucifixion type thing, or maybe it's something else. Like, I don't know.
It could be, because you gotta figure Matt Murdock is a Job character from the Bible.
Yeah.
He's going to be constantly tested by God. And at this point, how hollow is Job's hand after everything he's gone through, especially a boxer like this Job?
Yeah. Six Emperor system. Clearly, that's going to be a Punisher. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to be it's going to be dealing with the Punisher, the police, and just the system itself. Probably seeing the system fall apart. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, and then art for art's sake is definitely going to focus on Muse. The two that I'm just like, well, they seem kind of weird as Isle of Joy and with interest. You know, like nothing striking there. But
I think Isle of Joy will deal with Vanessa. That's what I think.
You know what? You actually, now that you mention it, yeah, because she was kind of squandered off in another country, and that was the whole thing of like when we last saw Fisk and Matt, like Fisk wasn't getting, he wanted to get married, but he wasn't getting married, and Matt was like, if your chick comes over here, she's getting arrested too, so have at it, buddy. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm praying that it's good, and we'll just have to wait and see. We've got Jamie D coming in with will they use the same opening theme because that's iconic? My assumption is going to be no, because there are licensing aspects there, and then you get into the creators that you then have to, not the creators of the show, but the creators of the music. There's all this weird stuff going on.
Yeah, rights and
right.
What's the residuals, all that stuff, and there's one thing like big companies don't want to do is pay residuals. They don't want to pay people, so they'll do whatever they can to keep that from happening.
That's why they're not considering this season 4, and it's no, I'm being completely serious because
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
If they did, there's obligations that they have to then provide residuals to previous creators and stuff that created the first 3 seasons for Netflix. It's why they didn't bring certain creative people back from behind the scenes, because then they would be contractually bound to bring them in at higher pay rates. Usually when you're on shows, if it goes season by season, your creative teams behind get job increases, which you could say like, well, Disney has the money, they could do it. Well, maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of technical just aspects there that are crazy. And we have J Ravage 77 coming in with, hey guys, fingers crossed for Daredevil season 4. Season 3 was awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think season 1, 2, and 3 are all awesome. I'm sad that
I what's funny, season 2, I would say one thing. I like season 2 for the most part. I would say episodes 1 through 4 are perfect. That could have been a whole movie in itself. A whole 2-hour movie in itself. But what I do now when I go back and watch season 2 is that I cut through all the Elektra stuff because I don't give a shit. I watch all the stuff with Frank Castle and everything else going on within the city. But when it gets to Elektra in the hand, I'm like, because I know where it goes. I'm like, this is just fucking stupid. I don't care.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I like Elodie Young. I don't know if I would say she's a great Elektra.
She's not.
I like her. I feel like she's got a fun presence. So I'll be curious to see if they do anything with Elektra at any point.
I don't think so. I'm willing to bet you they won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you still have the cliffhanger from Defenders where her body wasn't there. I mean, I'm just
I know. Just that. Oh, Sigourney Weaver was the heavy. She was the big bad.
God, and then did nothing. Like, you get a great actress like that and then do nothing. Yeah.
Shit.
That show was a hot mess.
It was a letdown.
Oh man, it should have been way more than what it was. Yeah, no, I think we've said all we can say. March 4th, it's going to be here before we know it, and then I'm hoping that I watch the first episode and feel great and can't wait for the next week. So,
likewise.
Drew, let's kind of shift the topic of conversation back to comics. Before we start talking about some of this week's releases, we did get a few announcements, and the first announcement, we never outright were like, oh hey, this is coming, but I think on one of it was either the top worst or top best, one of Max's streams, we kind of slipped it on out there a little bit. In one of those streams, but for whatever reason, someone at DC decided to smoke a lot of crack, and we're getting season 2 of Fire and Ice: Return to Smallville, and I don't know what to say. I will say I've known about this for about a month and a half to 2 months. So,
Hearing bad ideas like this, and how frequently that they're happening, it's really reminding me of the Electric Boogaloo, the Canon Films documentary, when they're interviewing like a lot of the film editors and like writers for Canon Films from back in the day, and they're all saying these were routinely bad ideas on a daily basis. This is what this is reminding me of. Canon Films, routinely, but which is an insult to Canon Films, because at least they had some good stuff here and there. For every 20 bad films, they had a good film. A 20-to-1 ratio, that's not bad.
yeah.
But that's kind of like where Marvel is right now. Marvel and DC right now are the Canon Films of comic books. For every 20 bad comics, you'll probably have a good one. And this is one of the many bad ones right now. This is just it's just proof that they do not know what type of stories that their readers want to read. They are completely out of touch.
Oh, 100%. They had a whole article discussing what this story was going to be about. I didn't even bother to read it because I don't care. I will read issue 1 when it comes out because that's what I do for this channel for Top 5 Comics. You're welcome. You can thank me later. But God, like what? I mean, so we had, I think, 2 issues that came out from Fire and Ice at the very beginning of 2024. And predominantly it was a 2023 book, but for 2023, I think most of us, I think we all had it like in our top 3 for the worst book of the year. And I think for some of us, the only thing that beat it out were actual just individual issues of other titles that single issue ended up being such a pile of shit that, we're going to discuss that issue versus the series. So the fact that this is coming out blows my mind. Most people, I don't, unless you are confused about what gender you are and you live in that non-binary world with colored hair and stuff, those are the only people that I saw praising this book. Or the homos that liked it because there was a drag queen in there and a drag show. Therefore, it's a great book.
Yeah, a drag show. So not just that, there was a drag show going on in Smallville. Bear in mind, this is Smallville, small town Americana, and this was happening in Smallville, which I highly doubt there are that many trannies in Smallville.
I'll make a quick correction. Drag queens aren't necessarily trannies, but carry on.
Okay. Anyway, there's a lady protesting outside where they're having their RuPaul drag race, and I think it's the person whoever's running the drag show. I think it was Fire goes out and cold cocks the lady across the face for protesting. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah,
your moral compass is completely pointed south. This is insane. The morality of these writers and quote unquote creatives is gone.
Yeah,
telling stories of heroes struggling and being triumphant eventually, but those are gone.
Yeah,
You just made them propaganda pieces.
Well, I mean, it's Joanne Starr that's writing this, which I mean that should say enough because that individual is a lunatic. They're also writing the Harley Quinn fart fetish book that's coming out in April 1st. Yeah, look, I mean, just based on looking at this picture, it looks like we got a little Freaky Friday type thing going on where their powers trade places. It's gonna be
I
another
smell a
yeah.
sitcom.
Oh, it's gonna be attempt number 2 of making a superhero version of Schitt's Creek.
We're on the
Hey,
highway to
yeah.
wackiness.
I am someone who loves Schitt's Creek, but the first attempt was not even close. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have positive thoughts. I mean, look, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say names. There is a DC editor that was like, this was brought up. Joe Starr, pitched an idea, and the editor was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll turn it in, but like they're really pulling back on a lot of things right now. Just it may not go through, so don't hold out a lot of hope. And then they greenlit it. I'm just like, but that editor was shocked that DC would move forward with greenlighting this. So that should tell you like what's going on within DC. There you go.
And it really makes me wonder how many good ideas that they rejected.
Oh God, I don't even want to know.
That's what's really pissing me off.
Yeah,
how many good ideas have been rejected and they greenlit this shit. We know for a fact, Josh, a good friend of ours, who did have a pitch for a team book that takes place in the future, a futuristic team. DC said no. Yeah, it's like, you guys are smoking crack. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah,
and it's to the point. Seeing shit like this. If DC were to ever come to me and ask, if it's a big fucking if, they ever to come with me and like, hey, do you have a pitch for anything you want to do for us? It'd be like, no. It's like, I would have loved to have done Ragman, but if you're publishing this shit, if you're publishing Harley Fart Special, I want nothing to do with DC Comics. Nothing. Because I have artistic integrity, and I don't want to be associated with this shit.
I mean, my devil's advocate there would be like, someone save DC. And look, we're talking about how this is such a hot mess, but you do have like the Jeremy Adams that are coming in and really,
yes,
trying to do their best.
Yeah, that's very true too. And it's like he is real. I mean, and I feel bad for him because they're promoting shit like this. They're pushing this garbage. This is the stuff that they're saying. Yeah, you want to check this out. You want to check out the Harley Quinn Fart Special. You want to check out Fire and Ice. Their wackiness. Yep. Oh yeah, we also have Jeremy Adams, doing Aquaman and Mark Waid doing Justice League and all that. Yeah, that's back there. But this is what you really want. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And honestly though, it's not anything new. Look at the reason that the Jeff Johns and the Pete Tomasis and all of them left. It was the same thing. They were pitching ideas and DC was going, great. Yeah, let's do that. And then radio silence for 3+ months with no other feedback. Meanwhile, they're greenlighting shit like this that's just bombing.
And then we heard about Sean Gordon Murphy. He pitched these ideas. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? It's just.
And the crazy thing with Sean's pitch was it was in the the Batman White Knight universe and really expanding and had
it looked amazing.
All these different writers coming on board, had ideas for like toys to come in with, like it was a full package presentation. And I guess I don't know.
It looked amazing.
It looks like someone does have hope for this though, because we've got Zach's coming in saying, I have hope for Double D's. Oh wait, no. That's I have a hope for Daredevil. My bad.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you might get Double D's here. We'll see. Just
on the covers. I guarantee on the covers by Rachel and Terry Dodson. Yes,
that's what I was
on the inside. Say. Yeah, on the inside, it's gonna be androgynous bullshit.
Yeah, the inside. Unless I don't know if they're changing artists, but the interior artist for the first one was god
awful.
But to give this a run for its money, so I would say Fire and Ice was the series that we were like, God, this was one of the worst series we saw for 2023. But one of the other worst series that we saw for 2024 separately was Dazzler, and it's like Marvel's trying to one up what's going on, because they have now announced Concert of Champions, which is gonna have Dazzler as the lead. I don't even know who these two side self-insert characters are that are here, but you're also gonna have Ghost Spider, whatever, Spider Gwen is also gonna be in this book amongst others. Aren't you excited?
Oh, I am beyond excited, Josh. I
Yeah.
can't not wait. Where to start with this?
I don't even know, man. Like,
Dazzler was created as a gimmick during the late disco era by Jim Shooter, and he had a hard time launching that. They have tried countless times to make it work with Dazzler, trying to update her for the modern times in different iterations, whether it be like a Lady Gaga or a Katy Perry or Pink or Cyndi Lauper. I don't know. It's never taken off. It's never really clicked. And just like with the Eternals, it's never clicked. Yeah. And what this quote unquote writer is doing, it is beyond stupid. Every issue is beyond stupid. The dialogue is beyond stupid. And the song, every issue ends with, in the back, a song written by, quote unquote, the writer, and the song lyrics are stupid.
Yep.
If you want to lose brain cells and legitimately want to feel dumber, on top of listening to Billy Madison talk about how the puppy lost his way, read this.
Yeah.
And you will be dumber after reading this. And the fact that we're getting, like you said, a season 2 essentially, of this Dazzler run, it just further proof that Marvel and DC are the canon films of the comic book industry. Bad ideas on a daily basis. Who the fuck is reading this?
I don't know. What's really scary about this though is you've got the Dazzler series, which you might think is going to be Dazzler in her own kind of action adventure series, and it's not. It's her doing concerts with weird shit happening and villains attacking her while she's performing. And you're like, okay, so it's really just like a performance, like a band type comic that's awful. But now you're gonna get a band like they're not trying to hide it; they're just throwing it out there. But it also makes me think you're not gonna get any heroics. It's just gonna be whatever the fuck this is.
It's reminding me of that Turtles run by Sophie Campbell, when it was like the Battle of the Bands.
Oh,
and
God.
That's all it was. That's kind of like what we're seeing here. It's just like, that's all it is. I'm like, what makes this an action adventure comic book?
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I in some ways I blame Brendan Fletcher, who first kind of brought this idea out with Black Canary at DC Comics when he did that DCU version of her when she's in a band. But at least he tried to tell a compelling story outside of just the band for that. This is just going to be like, oh, aren't we cool? We're going to talk about, oppression as mutants. Yeah. And we're going to have song lyrics that, I would say were written by Chat GPT, but that would be a discredit to Chat GPT. So yeah, it's awful.
I guess once again, it really makes you wonder what good ideas were turned down to publish this. I really want to know. I really I really wish Marvel and DC would like release like a blacklist, if you will, of like all the pitches and scripts that were rejected in a calendar year, and that way we could see what Marvel and DC said no to, and the fans could be like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking awesome! Why'd you say no to that? And you published this shit? Why?"
Yep. I will say this, and this is kind of off topic, but kind of where we need to go within the comics industry is, I don't know much about behind the scenes at Marvel because I was never, working on Marvel. I mean, not Marvel titles, but I was never covering anything Marvel, and I was covering most things DC, and I had a lot of good relationships with the writers, the artists, and some of the editors as well. But I was on the Dan DiDio needs to go train when all that was happening, because I was sick of him trying to recreate the same thing over and over again. But what I miss about Dan DiDio and what the industry desperately needs is someone to say no. And he was not afraid to say no. He would tell people no all the damn time. And clearly we need someone in charge of these two companies, DC and Marvel, that's not afraid to say no. If you want to do this as maybe a one-off special for some random thing, sure, go do your fun one-off. But the fact that we're doing full mini-series, or what they're probably presenting as ongoing series of this type of stuff, is insane. Just it's so retarded, and I can't get behind it.
You said bad ideas on a daily basis, and it really feels like it's ran by people who are not concerned about economics, not concerned about making money, just treating it like a clubhouse, just printing whatever. Just people who are just kind of giving up. People who are just there to show up to get a paycheck, just going through the motions. It's like a federal employee who's been there 30 or 40 years, punching in, doing the same damn thing every day, clock in, clock out. That's it. That's where it seems like these are the people who are calling the shots.
Pretty much,
just given up.
I mean, it feels like the people that are calling the shots are the people that, like, you wondered how they got their job to begin with, and then you fast forward 15 years later, and you're like, how did you go from an associate editor to being like one of the main editors? Like, what the fuck happened? Because
then you find out in the business, it's like, if you keep your head down, do your job, don't rock the boat, don't piss anyone off. It's amazing how far you just progress by doing just that. It's insane in this industry.
Hell, I mean, it's amazing how far you progress when you do the exact opposite and do crazy shit. Don't do your job. Don't get shit in on time.
Repeatedly, not just once, but like on various projects. It's like, how are you still rewarding dickheads like this? I don't understand that.
Blows my mind. But anyway, two terrific titles that we have to look forward to in the coming months. So I might be doing a lot of drinking come spring, summer. And
not just you.
It'll be justified. It looks like Aaron might be on his way soon. So we're going to go ahead, because when he comes in, I'll kind of recap a few things just to get his thoughts, because I know he's got some thoughts on some of the stuff. But until he gets here, I do want to kind of pop over and let's go over some comics that were released this week. That way, oh shit, I'm doing the wrong thing. Whoops. And I'm going to say I was a bad host. I have not read anything from this week. We had we got Nadia in the chat. Drew, show feet. Look at those toes. I'm not a feet person, so I struggled to say that. But so I do the book club for the channel. I also participate with a book club for my local comic shop. I think it's a good thing to do to kind of get social, get people back together, and it's something to get people to look forward to within the comic shop. But two, it's a great way to help sell some books, but also get people familiar with comics they may not read otherwise. So we had that Wednesday night. So got home late Wednesday night, got home late last night, and stayed up late kind of preparing this stream. And then I pretty much came home, ate, and then hopped on the stream. So I haven't read anything for this week. So Drew is going to do all the heavy lifting here. And let me just get my shared screen up as we go through. Now, Drew, when I go to the screen, I'm not going to be able to see. So if Aaron pops up in the background, you'll just have to let me know.
Okay.
Or at least backstage, I should say. He'll end up chatting in the private chat. So
yeah.
I'm not brave like Max. I'm not going to go to the internet STD site. So we are strictly going to keep this here. But we'll run through these books from this week, and I do want to get some thoughts. So looking at this top row, did you happen to read Ultimate Spider-Man number 13?
I read Ultimate Steve Spiderman number 13.
Nice.
So I'm fed up at this point with this issue, with the series and this issue. So I was led to believe, this is me putting on my creative cap. I was thinking that in this issue we were going to see what led to Harry and Peter being kidnapped. I was that because I want to know how the hell these two guys got the jump put on them. You know, they got kidnapped. No, we don't see that. It is Mysterio, Craven, and I forget who else it is. Maybe it's just Mysterio and Craven most of the time. Oh, Hans Moleman. They're talking. They are talking to each other for well over a dozen pages, and that's all that fucking happens. And then you have the symbiote wearing Peter's kid in the first several pages, and they're talking to each other at great lengths, and I'm just like, is anything going to fucking happen? And
I mean, we're 13 issues in, so hopefully.
They completely jumped over the part I wanted to see happen. I wanted to see Harry and Peter get fucking kidnapped. I want to see what the fuck happened. And the whole time I was reading it, it reminded me of a great Simpsons episode early on. It was when there was a gas leak at the nuclear power plant. Lenny, Carl, Homer, and this other guy, he had glasses on. They're like, we're doomed, and they're backed up against the wall. You see the gas approaching, and they're like, ah! And then hard cuts to Mr. Burns' office. The one nerd he's talking to, Mr. Burns, he's like, well, sir, I'm not going to bore you with the details of how we survived the gas coming this way that almost killed us. It's like, that's exactly what fucking happened. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hickman didn't want to bore us with the details of how they managed to get kidnapped. It's like, fuck you, John Hickman.
Yep.
Fuck you, and your boring ass. It just, what the hell? He has to be one of the most boring assholes on the planet who has gotten work in the comic book industry. I don't fucking get it. It's just, just show us a goddamn action scene for longer than a damn page. There's not even an action scene in this.
You know, I don't understand the trend. This is a very particular trend that's been going on where writers are writing around their story. Because James Tynion is really bad about doing this, where they'll set up something that's an interesting concept, and you're like, I can't wait to explore that. And then you never do. You just have it happens off panel, off page, and then they just catch back up after the fact. And you're like, you just took away the one thing I actually wanted to read from this. Like, what is going on? But yeah, we're 13.
It's 13. So it's setting up. This is a setup for the next issue with Craven going to hunt Harry and Peter. Like, this is his great hunt. It's like, this whole issue is a setup for the next issue. It's like, fuck you, Jonathan Hickman. Fuck you. God damn it.
Well, I was going to say, we're 13 issues in, and it's like we keep waiting for a Spider-Man story.
Yes.
I mean, there's no other way to put it.
And not, on top of that, this issue also ends. It was kind of like two quote unquote cliffhangers. One is with Craven getting ready to hunt Harry and Peter, and then we see Peter's kid in the symbiote being stopped by the new Black Cat, and it's like, oh gee, I wonder how much action Jonathan Hickman is going to avoid in the next fucking issue from happening, and we're gonna hard cut to them drinking chocolate milkshakes in a diner somewhere, or better yet, we're probably gonna see Uncle Ben and Peter's dad in the sauna again, just talking business for the next issue. Oh, yeah. I've learned to lower my expectations that this is no longer an action comic. This is a decompressed Aaron Sorkin West Wing comic book that Jonathan Hickman wants to tell. And that's fine. Yeah. That's your prerogative, all right? But me, I'm coming to Spider-Man. I'm coming to Ultimate Spider-Man for some fucking action. And okay, yeah, you talk. I'm backing off. You talk.
No, I was gonna say, but part of what makes it frustrating too is like we're not really getting good Spider-Man anywhere. You know, like we're gonna talk about Amazing Spider-Man in a second, but I think when Ultimate Spider-Man launched and we saw, or even before it launched, and we saw that, hey, you know, Peter and MJ are going to be together. Like that's one of the things we want to focus on is that family aspect. And I think the whole thing was we were hoping we were going to get to see, like, part of what makes Spider-Man interesting is watching Spider-Man balance the being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker, but we always kind of get it from a younger perspective. Like he's in high school, he's in college. It's always that kind of younger take. So, you know, what difference are we going to see now that he is married, he has kids, and he's becoming Spider-Man? Because you've essentially got him in his 30s at this point, and that's when this is kind of taking place. But we don't get any of that. We don't like everything that seemed like it would have been great. We don't get, and I think a lot of people were hoping this would be that one book that kind of came in and fixed the problem we've been having, and also put Pete and MJ together, like officially.
So I'm going to say hypothetically, I know we got that we already kind of got this with Spider-Man Renew Your Vows from Peter David, and honestly, I would have spent the money. I don't care if he's on his fucking deathbed. Like, Peter, you're writing Ultimate Spider-Man. We're going to have you write this. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't care what this costs. You are writing this because at least I know you're going to put in some fucking action. I know that for a fact. You understand that. You understand this is an action visual medium.
Yeah.
This is not a fucking novel. And Jonathan Hickman does not have the balls for this. I would kick him off this damn book. But like, Jonathan, you're going to have either the next issue you're going to have some fucking action in this or you're fucking off the book. I'm sorry.
When you said it's not a fucking novel, I started to be like, it is a novel. It's a graphic novel, you bully. Yeah, no, I think disappointed is the best thing to say about Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean,
yeah, it bullseye. It is disappointing. And look, this book, you know it. This book has a lot of apologists. There are a lot of apologists for this book. Like, oh, give it time. Just because it's Ultimate doesn't mean it needs to be like it's like the old Ultimate book. Doesn't mean it has to be action all the time. Like, there is no fucking action in this damn book. It's just there is none. And
there is, Drew. There is one page out of like 7 issues.
You cannot defend this book anymore. You can't.
No. Look, and I was one of the people that, especially early, I will never forget reading the first issue and discussing it. And I remember all of y'all were like, "Oh, you don't even get Spider-Man. You just get the silhouette of him on the last page." And I was like, "Guys, it's the start of the story. Like, we'll get it." Now I have to like eat crow because I'm like, yeah, nope, still waiting for Spider-Man. Is there gonna be?
Honestly, it's reminding me of the. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things that remind me of other things. You know. It just the apologist for this. It's reminding me of South Park, the 3-parter about the Black Friday, making fun of Game of Thrones. And you have George R.R. Martin in the episode. He's like, "Oh no, the dragons are on their way. Don't worry, they're coming. They're on their way." And it's like with this, like, yeah, the action's on the way. Action's coming. It's gonna be coming. It's coming hard. It's coming fast. Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Sure. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's reminding me of Jurassic Park when Dr. Ian Malcolm is like, so are there gonna be any dinosaurs on this dinosaur ride? Is there gonna be any Spider-Man in this Spider-Man book? No, okay.
But
Can I
then
get a
just
refund?
watch the dickheads defending this issue in this series and be like, well, you get to see the symbiote Spider-Man talking to this kid. You get to see the symbiote Spider-Man beginning of the book.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Fuck
like we're
you.
talking about the dickheads defending it. Look, 950 people out of 959 liked it, so 99% of the people liked this book. And look, I will say it's not a terrible book. Like there's other things out there that I think are worse. And a lot of
This is the most. This is the most beautifully illustrated, boring book on the market right now.
yeah. Excuse me, I'm trying to see if there's anything worth kind of looking at. Oh, R2. It's incredible how this book can always surprise. It continues to present such interesting characters and well, it says deepen, but I'm sure it means deepen the other ones. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm a big I think Hickman is good at certain things. I think writing compelling relationships is something he's not good at. But yeah, you see 5-star, 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 5-star. Well, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. What
Whoa.
what an asshole. Clearly this Blorb guy. Oh, but Drew, look, the training wheels are finally off. Oh, but he did say it only took 7 or 8 bad issues in the middle of the run. So, all right. Well, you know what, Blorb? Sure, we'll give you credit for that because you usually don't even see people be that honest on here. Yeah, crazy. Not a great book. Let me go back real quick. Did you happen to read anything else from this top row? I know you read Amazing Spider-Man. Should we just stick with that theme for a second?
Okay,
Because you loved this
sure.
book.
Oh, it was fantastic. If you want to read about a character who's just pretty much given up on, I guess, life in general, just who's just become a bum, it's this issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Peter Parker has become a bum. You have no job. You have no residence. You are a bum, Jules. All right.
What a bum. You sent us. Sorry, I'm closing this other panel real quick. You sent us pictures in a group chat from this issue, I believe, right?
Yes. Yep. Yes, I did. Yeah. There's a punk holding up a bodega, and Peter's just letting it happen, and he's just like,
yeah.
Really, guy, who uses cash anymore? Peter, there's a lot of people who still use cash. Sorry, especially in New York. But anyway, regardless, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Peter's just like letting this happen. He's just a dickhead who's just given up on life. This is another example of someone who's writing for Marvel Comics that should not be here at all.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah. I had
and not just that. They're oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I got a nitpick too. So this cover right here of Spider-Man and Black Cat making out on the wall. So this does happen in the book, but it's Peter Parker in his street clothes during the day, hugging the side of a wall, making out with Black Cat.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that would not happen. Peter would not do that.
Yeah.
But then again, this is the Peter who's given up on life at this point. So
Peter who's given up on life. You got, I don't know. Amazing Spider-Man was my worst book of the year for last year because I think it's done so much damage, but I can't. Did you happen to read anything else from this top row? We've got Justice League Unlimited #3.
So I did read Detective Comics. Detective was good. Detective Comics was good by Tom Taylor.
Really? Tom Taylor, Detective Comics. Okay.
He's he's really with Detective. He's been he's shooting about 70-30, I'd say right now. 70 good, 30 bad. Just he's been relatively kept in check for the most part. He's had a couple blips where he'll get on his anti-capitalism stance, but he's doing all right. Wonder Woman.
I was going to say, could it be that an editor is actually editing him? Perhaps.
I think so. I think someone's keeping him in check. I think he had a talking to. I think people told him, "Hey, that this shit you've been saying, cut it back."
Look, I will say, and this was before he started doing ongoing titles, but there was a time when I heard Tom Taylor's name, I viewed it as a positive thing.
Yeah,
I thought
me too.
he delivered, fun stories, but they were all self-contained, mostly out of continuity, kind of shorter runs. I mean, he had Injustice, which I thought was a lot of fun. And then he was doing a lot of like one shots or 2 issues popping up here and there in different books, different annuals, and those were usually really good. And then it was like he hopped on Suicide Squad is ongoing, and it was all right. I had fun with it, and it got cut short because DC decided to throw everything out the window with the new Suicide Squad movie coming out. But then it was like he jumped on Superman, John Kent Superman, and it's just been shit after shit after shit. And what we got at DC is what he was given to Marvel the few years prior, like just terrible stuff.
Tastes like mustard and bigotry.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Wasn't that from Wolverine?
Oh, that was the X-Men Red.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah, he'll never live that down. That's gonna be a line that'll be always remembered.
Yep. Did you read Superman by chance?
Superman was. I want to love the direction of Superman. I really want to love what they're doing here because they got '90s callbacks here. Bringing back like Radiant and like the people who tried to kill Doomsday from Hunter Prey back in the day, and how people are trying to tell Superman, no, you got to kill him now. We want to kill him, and Superman's like, no, we can turn his way, we can prevent this, we can save him. It's like it's one of those eye twitching moments where you want to be like, Superman, you are an idiot. This guy killed you. He almost destroyed your fucking city. He almost killed you again and again and again. I understand you think people could change, but this is a creature that cannot change, will not change. Some people are just born bad, and that's Doomsday.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just like, but, and the stuff with with Lois Lane is Superwoman is eye twitching, and what's going on with Lex is even dumber, and it's a lot of the side stuff that really just makes your eye twitch. Joshy Poo, Aaron needs the link on X to join.
Oh, okay. Let me mute, and then you keep going with this top line real quick.
Okay, yeah. So, continue with Superman. You have Joshua Williamson on art. Joshua Williamson, not Joshua Williamson, sorry, Dan Mora. Dan Mora on the art. Dan Mora, he does a solid job here. And there's one thing I feel bad for with artists is like when they're stuck with a boring story or just a story that's stupid. And that's the case here this week with Dan Mora on Superman, a stupid story. And then you have Marco Cicchetto stuck on a boring story with Ultimate Spider-Man. You're just wasting it's like I highly doubt Dan Mora wanted to have a bunch of talking heads he wanted to draw. And I doubt Marco Cicchetto wanted to have a bunch of talking heads. And it really pulls at the heartstrings for me creatively as a writer when I see that. And as for the other books in the top line, I did read Absolute Wonder Woman. It was, I'm just going to say not good. It's not a recommend. I found it very, very boring.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It was not that actively engaging. The art, look, I've seen this artist do other stuff. It's fantastic, but the art in this book is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
the relationship between Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor is weird, and how she talks to humanity is even weirder. The narrations are strange. It's one of those things where it's an interesting idea, but it's executed shittily, and it should have been so much better, but it's not.
And what about our favorite Uncanny X-Men by the one and only Gail Simone with
So the first thing that comes to mind is the Robin Sparkles song from How I Met Your Mother. Let's go to the mall.
Oh God!
Today.
Oh, no.
So yeah, toward the end of this, they go to the mall today.
Why do you even know that song? That's what I want to know.
I watched How I Met Your Mother. Kyle and I we watched that show.
Fair.
We loved it. We loved that show back in the day.
Yeah.
Pretty much for NPH. He was great on it.
Yeah, agreed.
But the issue is bad, and Wolverine's dialogue in it. When you read what's coming out of his mouth, and it's like, I don't believe you. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, this is full of shit. Wolverine would never say this. He would never say this to some punk kid who wanted to leave the team. It's just as a longtime reader, your bullshit meter should go off when a character you've read before, when they say something, you know automatically they would never say that. Everything Wolverine says in this book, he would never say. It does not make sense. And it ends. There's a cliffhanger with one of the new hip kids, one of the new hip cats, getting impaled or dying from the sentinel dog werewolf things. I don't know. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, no, not one of the new annoying kids. Don't kill them.
I mean, you say new annoying hip kids. I say X-Men.
I would say you're wrong. But, yeah.
Oh, I love the silence there. And then I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Josh? I fucking hate you. I'm bouncing.
It's those are the people I'll see at conventions, who say that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, really? You guys honestly believe this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I've been there. I understand that.
And if I were more antagonistic, if I were more confrontational with them, because I don't want to be, because I got books to sell, I'd be pulling out volumes of X-Men like this. It'd be like, all right, you point to me in this comic where it matches or exceeds what is in this Essential X-Men volume right here. Mm-hmm. You do that right now.
Yep. Did you happen to read the Best Assist book ever by the Best Assist writer ever, who totally doesn't have mommy? No. Oh. I mean, he kind of falls into that. I'm talking about Tom King and Wonder Woman, man. The Best Assist ever.
I did read it.
Look at all this lady power on this cover, Drew. Come on.
Oh, there's so much lady power for your face, neck, and chest in this.
Oh, it's, yeah.
And how it ends, it's like, no, Tom, do not do this. Don't you dare do this. It's not good. And this is another example of a writer whose moral compass is very, very much pointing south, because we know what he's trying to sell. We know what he's trying to do. He's trying to show us that these ladies on the cover, that they're the good guys. You're led to believe that. But if you're reading this and you're thinking critically when you're reading this, you'll notice that, wait a minute, these characters are just as evil, if not more so, than the villain of this book.
Yeah, that's kind of Tom King's MO. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And
the actions they do in this, it's very shocking. It's head scratching, and how it ends, I'm just thinking to myself, Tom, don't you dare do this. Do not do this. Do not go down this path.
I feel like we should have named, based on this cover alone, we should have named this title Wonder Broads.
Yeah.
Got the Wonder Broads here. It's also kind of interesting to look at it and go like, okay, you got Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, Wonder Girl, Wonder Girl.
Girl.
Maybe
that's not confusing.
Yeah, maybe we should stop making Wonder Girls. We're reaching Robin levels of duplicates here. That
I'm honestly surprised Nubia isn't here.
Oh, don't give them any ideas. Oh, you've officially lost the moniker of Heavy D. Like you're done. It's over with. We are going to pause real quick on discussing new comics. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second because we have another person backstage.
Oh,
Aaron Sparrow.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
It's going, dude. How are you?
I have had a hell of a day, but it's going pretty well. Obviously I was supposed to be here earlier. Then I was like, I'll probably be there around 7, and then that didn't happen, and now here I am, close to 9. So
Listen,
better late than never.
I get it. Story of my life. Been there. No worries. I want to pause because you've been not home the past week or so. You've been elsewhere.
Yes, I've been up in the Pacific Northwest. I did a whole little outward bound experience. I stayed in a cabin. I did a bunch of writing, did a bunch of stuff that I needed to do. Did some editing for Drew. He's like, "You got time?" He's like, "You got time to look at this real quick?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm in a cabin. I got nothing but time." So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm still sore. I chopped wood. I thought that would be a good idea. And you feel real manly for a while, and you're like, you wait a couple hours later, you're like, yeah, my muscles are sore. I feel great. And then the next day, you're like, oh God, what have I done?
Oh God, what have I done? And then the day after that, you're like,
yeah, my body is trying to kill me.
Yeah.
But how is everybody? How is everybody in the chat? How you guys doing?
We're doing well, man. I mean, we've been going for a decent amount of time. Looks like 2 hours and 2.5 hours. Yeah. No, I think we've all just been busy. Like it's been a busy week. My week started off a little chaotic with the weather because we got some ice and snow and stuff. And anytime you get that in Texas, it kind of throws you for a loop. But yeah, I mean, busy but good. And
no, I think all of us are busy, but yet we still made time to be here. You know who else is busy is Max, and I see him in the chat, but I don't see him on screen. Where is our beloved Max?
Yeah, he had some stuff, so he wasn't able to do his show, which is why we moved this show to Friday. So I'm invading his space. So if you're not gonna do comic shop conversations, I'm gonna hop in on your territory, Max.
Yeah, did I miss Kyle? Did Kyle already come and go, or did he not come at all?
No, Kyle hates me, so he doesn't come to my stuff. He doesn't even show up in my chats. It's just it's fine. It's fine. It's Kyle. We expect nothing less. I literally was like, I sent the message to the group and I was like, I'm gonna message Kyle directly so he knows he's welcome. So I sent him a direct text. I was like, hey, you're like, I'm hoping you're coming. And he was like, listen, the worst fucking idea of how I could spend my Friday night is being on your show. So it's a no. And I said, okay, I love you too, buddy. And he's like, I love you too. And then that was great. No, we had Spencer on earlier. We kind of talked a little bit about, let me get this bad boy back in here. Blame Canada Publishing and went through Aftermath. I don't know if you want to add anything in there because you were there's a certain editor named Aaron Sparrow. I don't know if it's a different Aaron Sparrow.
No, that's me. That's me. Yeah, I'm editing this book, and Drew's doing another good job, like trying desperately to become the most prolific man in comics. That's like when while Dan Slott can't write one book a month without bringing in help. They're like, how many books do you have, Drew? And he's like, I think I've got like 87 this week. Yeah, what I'm doing
basically.
And he works a full-time job. I I guess posting messages on Blue Sky for Dan Slott is a full-time job, but
I don't Blue Sky. I avoid that. I avoid that chaos.
Yeah, you go down to the docks and you get yourself a blue ski and
right. Oh God.
Well, you know why? You know why you're not on Blue Sky, Josh, is because you're not on the Megan's Law watch list, so no one sent you an invite.
Fair. That's fair. Look, I might decide to turn my life around. Okay, I might go buy a white van, get the cheapest grandma type candy I can find, and get a high pitched whistly voice.
Oh, yeah, I am curious. I am kind of curious to check in on how everyone on Blue Sky is doing the last 4 days.
Gosh. Listen, I just seeing my mostly LA friends. There's a few people out here that kind of lean that way, but like I've got so many people that are just having like absolute conniptions. Do they even know why? Do they even know why? Like I checked in on a friend of mine and just like was like, oh, it was just like, oh, you don't understand anything. And you'd think after I told you not to get vaccinated and why that was a bad idea to go get the mRNA vax, and I told you don't do it, and you did it anyway. And all the other things that you've been wrong about. I've seen honestly the two things that I've really seen people freaking out about. Well, three things. I've seen plenty of people posting images of Project 2025 with check marks next to things that are done, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not done. Just like calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them need to happen. The funniest thing that I've seen is everyone freaking out on Facebook about Trump became president and then it forced me to follow him, and I'm like, no, it didn't. And they're like, yes, it did, because I didn't follow Trump and now I do. And I'm like, no, you followed the official White House POTUS account.
Yes,
and we have a new president. Therefore, it changed.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not. I was forced, and I was like, you weren't.
You were following Biden.
Yep.
And now
Biden is no longer the president for some months now. But they officially, it's Facebook official now. So there we go.
Yeah. And then people saying that like he rolled back the Equal Rights Amendment. No, he didn't.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
he can't do that. That he doesn't have an executive order, can't do that, and that's not the executive order that he signed.
Nope. The other funny thing that I have seen is I guess there's a congressman, I can't remember what state he's from, that put forward presented a bill that would allow presidents to serve more than 2 terms, but it's written, I don't know if you saw this, it's written in a way that's like, oh, if a president didn't get to serve 2 terms consecutively, they could have 3 terms. And I have watched people have complete meltdowns, and I'm like, guys, this is this is never gonna pass. Just
it can't pass. It requires a constitutional amendment.
Yep. Exactly. I mean,
it's look, I'm not a constitutional scholar, all right, but I did learn about the Constitution, and I did learn about our system of government in school, so I do know, when things don't pass the smell test, and then I just do a modicum of research when I go, that doesn't sound right.
Yep.
And and you get the answer.
Like, do you even think that the Supreme Court would allow that to happen? Honestly, even if it's a conservative court, no, it's not happening.
I mean, you'd have to go through the process to do an amendment, and like we're never gonna get that many people to agree. Like it's just not gonna happen.
No.
So yeah, that's been funny. Just I'm like, guys, just calm down. Like everyone, just take a deep breath. Sing Kumbaya. It's gonna be okay. We're fine. Just chill.
I'm great. Let me tell you something. My retirement portfolio doing great.
Oh, yeah. Same.
I by the time this second term comes to a close, I may be able to retire. I may be able to pull that out and retire.
You're like, woohoo, retirement.
Yeah, I mean, especially if I take Wes up on his offer and retire to the Philippines, I'll be living like a king.
Oh, right. I mean, seriously, that is not a bad idea. One of the other things we talked about, Aaron, is the Daredevil Born Again trailer. So I don't know if you got to watch that. Did you?
I
Did you
did.
watch? All right. What are your thoughts on the trailer itself?
Just the trailer itself. No,
Just
no prognostication. No, they did this before. Just
the
purely
trailer.
The trailer itself.
Yep.
Hyped like you wouldn't believe. I thought the trailer looked so damn good.
It looked, I mean, it reminded me of Netflix. It looked violent. The writing seems like it's competent writing and not Disney Plus writing.
Mhm.
And I'm excited for some of these characters. So, yeah. Now, if you were going to go beyond that and have some of your own prognostications, what are your thoughts beyond just the trailer?
I think that if this follows the storyline, if this follows up the Daredevil Netflix show,
Right.
You know, if the characters still have the same confrontations and all that, if all that still counts, I think it's got a pretty good chance of being good. As long as we ignore Echo and maybe let's ignore everything that happened in Hawkeye. If we can ignore both of those, I think we're okay.
Wait, you don't want Wilson Fisk crying because the spirits of Native American women entered his body and taught him the error of his ways?
No, I don't. But I'll tell you what is bothering me in this picture that you've got up on the screen is it looks like D'Onofrio has lost a little weight and he's getting some old man neck. And no. Okay, all the food that Ariana Grande is not eating right now, give to D'Onofrio.
Wait, time out. Drew does not know who Ariana Grande is.
I know Nacho Grande, but I know Ariana Grande because what Aaron said. I saw this woman who looked like Kate Moss, just from back in the day. Just looked like she could fall through between two floorboards. And that was Ariana Grande. It's terrifying. What she looks like.
I think
Kate Moss.
I think that Nosferatu orc that she's in Wicked with is like draining her life force.
Potentially. I've got to. Go ahead.
It looks like fucking Karen Carpenter. It is terrifying.
Oh no!
And if anyone knows who Karen Carpenter is, don't know, look it up. This is not a good omen. She does not look healthy.
She looks really bad. I'm actually like I don't generally pay attention to celebrities and things like that, but a while back I liked a SNL performance that she did where she was singing like a bunch of different people's songs and she was like nailing it. And then I watched a couple of clips of her on Conan where she was doing imitations of people. Like her Jennifer Lawrence impersonation is perfect, dead on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like she's got such good control of her voice. She's so good at impressions and everything. And then all of a sudden the algorithm on Instagram was like you're like the biggest Ariana Grande fan ever. Let's just here's some more. And I'm like, I don't. And then I started getting all the Wicked stuff, and I was like, oh god, no. But you know, she is a girl that I was like, oh, she's a really pretty girl. You know, she's really talented. I hope she goes far. And now I'm like, I hope she gets out of Hollywood because it's clearly destroying her as it destroys so many people.
Yeah, agreed.
She's got a bunch of stupid tattoos on her hands. She's hanging out with that demon with the septum piercing that she's in the Wicked movie with. And she desperately needs to eat some food. She looks so unhealthy.
Yeah,
she looks pale and like super pale and way too thin. Kyle, Ariana Grande is wickedly talented. Pun slightly intended. That's my buddy Kyle.
Yeah, I see what you did there, Kyle.
I see what you did there, Kyle. You wisecracking fool, you. Aaron, I have to tell you this because I thought it was the funniest fucking thing. It was the last episode of Culture Pop that we were doing, and I mentioned Wicked, and Drew goes, "Oh yeah, isn't that the one starring Iggy Azalea?" And I was like, "The fuck." So I've thought that was hilarious since it happened, and I've thought about it like while driving a couple of times, but I'm like, oh man.
So thanks to the documentary Quiet on the Set, as well as Film Threat, I've learned who Ariana Grande is. I'm like, oh, she was the chick who tried to jerk off a potato and got the water squirted in her face. Like, okay,
yeah, right.
cool.
That Quiet on the Set movie. Like, did we ever talk about that, or did you guys talk about it like when I wasn't here? Like,
no, I never watched it. So.
Oh, you got to. It is.
Well, and I was
terrifying.
never. I think part of it was I was never a big Nickelodeon guy. So
me either. But I did watch the doc, And I was like, I can't believe that they were, like if I would have seen that even not knowing what goes on in Hollywood, I would have been watching that going, is anybody going to stop this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the shit that goes down in LA, like so Zach's, who's a friend of the channel, has his own stream, does What's Good Wednesday. He has a guy named Cameron Pasha that comes on every now and then and talk. It's a guy that's a writer in Hollywood, and we're trying to find a time for both of us to get on to just discuss some of the crazy horror stories we've seen working in Hollywood. Because it's a weird world. Like, it's stuff where it's like, one of the writers that I worked for, I will never forget getting a phone call at like 4:30 in the morning, and all I hear is him going, "Hey, Josh, I need you to come get my dog." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Come to my house and get my dog." And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I go to his house to get his dog. He didn't live far, thankfully. And when I show up to his house, there's cop cars all around his house. And he's in the back of a cop car. His girlfriend's sitting on the front porch in handcuffs. And I'm like, they're not going to let me in to go get your dog. So I go, and the police officer's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Hey, I work for him. I work for this guy." I'm not going to say his name. But I was told to come get his dog. He's like, "Oh yeah, go in." I go in, there's like 4 cops inside. And when I tell you there are bullets, like, the blender bullet, like bullets of cocaine all over the tables and everything else. And the cops don't give a single shit about it. I go in, get the dog, take the dog with me. And there's the drug issues, there's potential abuse. And when I tell you that within like
Nick Recato was there for some reason.
within 4 to 5 hours, he's out like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, how did you not get like put like just locked away based on the amount of cocaine that you have? He's like, "Oh no, like all the cops buy from me." What? So no, you've got a side business essentially dealing drugs to the cops to buy them off, but you write for majors. Oh, wild.
And then
the iceberg.
Yeah. And then you're like, "Well, what were the cops there for?" And he was like, "I had some plastic straws. We were snorting the coke with plastic straws. We had to switch to paper. It was a big thing."
Yeah. Oh God. We were getting close to that time too. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, at least cocaine is something that paper straws would work for, because they don't work for drinks.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I'm glad I left right as that shit went down. Peace out, California.
Nadia wants you to show your feet, Drew. She's disappointed.
That was from a while ago.
We did that earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody? Is there like nobody's talking in the chat? Then I came.
I mean, it's pretty late. We people usually kind of die down around this time, so everyone's gone to bed. We've already had like half the chat be like, "Peace out, I'm going to bed." The other thing, Aaron, because I really want to get your thoughts on this, but I don't know if you heard, but DC is bringing back Fire and Ice for season 2.
Why?
Because Joanne Starr delivered such a wonderful success, and their goal to deliver Schitt's Creek in comic book with 2 heroes worked so perfectly. That's why.
Heroes.
Did they actually say heroes?
No.
Marvel did a book called Heroes. Did you know that?
Yes.
Years ago. And you know who the writer was?
Gail Simone.
No.
Wasn't it? Oh.
Grace Randolph.
Oh
God.
I have a copy of it that Grace Randolph sent me.
Wow.
Because I was working for Boom at the time, and she was trying to get more. And she was trying to get more work. And honestly, to be fair, I was trying to get her on a couple of things, because she was working on the Muppets, and then the Muppet team, certain people on the Muppet team decided they didn't like her work, and like they were like, she's a good enough writer, but she doesn't get the Muppets. And and the funny thing is, like the guy that would often tell me that the writers didn't get the Muppets outside of Grace, just everybody, he'd be like, this writer doesn't really seem to get the Muppets, is the guy that wrote Kermit the Swamp Ears. Literally the worst piece of Muppet fiction ever produced. And he kept trying to pump me on, or he kept trying to not pump me. Oh my gosh! It is Hollywood. It is Hollywood. He kept trying to pitch me on doing you need to let me write a 6-part Muppet NBA comic book, because he liked the NBA and he worked on the Muppets. And he thought he could really write a great Muppet basketball 6-issue series. And I was like, yeah, okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
But getting back to this sucked. If not for this sucked so bad, and it's being written by the person who is writing the Harley Quinn Silent but Deadly Fartacular Fart Fetish comic book for fart fetishists, spy fart fetishists. So the fact that they're doing this, I mean, obviously DC wants to die. They want to die every time. It's always one step forward, 6 steps back with DC. It's unbelievable.
Always.
I mean, look, they're going to have some nice. The only thing it's got going for it is the Dodson covers or the Adam Hughes covers, or whoever's doing, whoever they're going to enlist to wrap this turd. But I mean, what you have to pay for like an Adam Hughes or a Terry Dodson cover? Are you even going to make any profit at that point on this book? Because nobody bought the first one.
No. What I love about this, I've known this was coming for 2 months, 3 months, just kind of like sitting on the snooze of like, holy shit. And I couldn't say anything because the reason I know is too much of an obvious connection, and I don't want people to get in trouble. So I wasn't saying this publicly, and we finally hinted at
Perch knows everything. No.
Oh, it wasn't Perch.
I know it wasn't Perch.
Yeah.
Perch doesn't talk to you except through a thick wall of lawyers.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm like, what's up, Perch? He's like, who are you again?
I believe you know my attorney, Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, right. Perch, I just broke into your house that one time, man. Come on. Yeah, but what I love, and I mentioned this earlier, is that there's an editor for DC that when this was getting pitched, the editor was like, listen, we're saying no to a lot of stuff right now, so like, yeah, go ahead and get it in, but don't hold your breath. This most likely isn't gonna happen. Green light. It was like, what the fuck?
Who is in charge that greenlit this, and why are they still employed?
Retards.
Well, I mean, I saw that Matt Gagnon is leaving Boom, so he'll probably be over there, stinking up the place pretty soon too. It's funny because I reached out to somebody very, very knowledgeable in the industry with the Boom Studios news, and they just wrote back to me, Matt is a colossal clown. And I was like, oh, good, it's not just me.
Yeah.
So Boom Studio News?
Yeah. Yeah, Boom Studio News. They're losing their longtime editor in chief.
Oh.
Who in my time there, I can tell you, was only good at calling meetings that didn't need to be called, so that you could explain to him, you could give him an update on the thing that you already had a meeting about 2 hours ago. So you would all stop working, stop doing what you were doing, go into another meeting to say, there's been no change.
Yep.
I sent an email, they haven't got back to me yet. If they got back to me, I would have sent you an email letting you know, because Matt was the creative force, I think, that is responsible for this meeting could have been an email meme.
I mean, I would say
in another 2 hours, let's have the same meeting again, but now we'll have marketing sit in so they can get caught up on all the things that haven't changed.
Yep. That was the story of my life at my corporate job. We would literally have a meeting to decide something, and then we would have to have another meeting. So that was usually at 9 a.m. And then we'd usually have to have another quick Hail Mary meeting at 12 because somehow everyone walked away with different fucking ideas of what we were going to do for the week. And then it's like, guys, get your shit together. You have to talk about this to the CEO in less than an hour. And then we would go, and then it was the same bullshit of like, well, we're doing this. And it's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. You shut the fuck up because we're not. Yeah. So
this is the same thing that we're seeing like get cut through in government right now. Like, did you see Trump sitting down with the leaders of California, sans Gavin Newsom, which is great.
I did not get to watch it, but I like it was on TV when I got home, and my dad has been blowing up my phone, and I know it's that. I know it's that.
It was pretty entertaining to watch, just because it's like, yeah, I mean, this should be done in 24 hours. What are you doing? Well, and all the provocation, and it's just, and then they had people there too, like actual people who were talking about their experiences and how they can't go home, and how the state's getting in the way, and all the BS, and it's unbelievable, and it's like, this is what needs to be cut through. This is what needs to go away, and this is what happens in corporate America, and this is what happens in politics, except it's even worse in politics a lot of the time, because they don't have to actually produce anything. At the end of the day, sometimes there's shakeups on the corporate level, because some that come in and they fire a bunch of people because nothing's getting done. And then you get some new people in, stuff happens for a little while until they get complacent and incompetent. And then you got to go through and fire everybody again, or then maybe the company goes out of business. But the business of government never goes out of business. It just keeps on chugging along until like an entire country falls apart and the citizens are breaking into the zoo to eat the animals.
I mean, if you're telling me I'm getting smoked lion, I'm gonna show up. That's all I'm
Josh, you ever had giraffe?
No, but I'm tempted to. Sir, put the butter knife down and walk away from the giraffe before he knocks the ever-loving shit out of you.
Let's break into the zoo and see what kind of delicious animals we can find.
Right. How'd Josh die? Oh, he broke into the zoo because he's an idiot. Yeah. And you might think this is the only bad announcement, Aaron, but Marvel decided to throw their hat in the mix because Marvel. So they announced Concert of Champions starring Dazzler and whoever these two self-insert characters are, along with Spider-Gwen.
Sure, that may as well happen.
Yeah.
Was there a dare to see who could out-stupid each other this week between Marvel and DC? Because I think they tied.
I do too. That's what I told Drew. I was like, we literally went through 2023 talking about how Fire and Ice was probably the worst series. It's just it's so bad that it's infuriating. It's that bad. And then we go into 2024 and it's like, you know what? Dazzler has become that book. And now they're both like, 2025 books, you get a 2-for-1 special. Oh man. I just told them they're competing to top our worst of 2025 lists. So I
mean, getting a quick lead out there, like just best foot forward for the worst of lists for 2025.
Oh man, yeah.
In January, it's amazing.
Well, I only hope that in the Concert of Champions we get more of Jason Liu's spectacular lyric work.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I like that they're doing all this. I like that they're doing all this, and he's still probably going to be tying it to Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift isn't really looking great since she's buddies with Blake Lively. Blake Lively's going down in flames and taking Ryan Reynolds with her.
That whole thing is getting ugly.
It's getting bad. Like
I told you what I put it on Twitter, but Josh, did you see what my take on it is? Just having the most cursory evaluation of the situation, not knowing all the details, just having a friend tell me the overview of it.
No, I missed it.
My impression is Blake Lively either banged or wanted to bang Justin Baldoni and got rejected, or just didn't get out of it what she wanted to, or got caught by Ryan Reynolds and then had to craft a cover story as to why she had so many messages from this guy, or whatever the situation was, and had to on the fly create a story. And so she created a harassment story where he was really after her, and it's just ballooned out of her control. Because Justin did not take it. He did not disappear. He didn't have a bunch of tweets out there saying, in these times, it's important that we all believe women and we all champion women. And well, I'm sorry. Was I doing an accent?
When did Neil Gaiman join the stream?
I'm sorry. I just know that Amanda Palmer is proud to be married to such an unabashed feminist.
That's right. That's right. I'm still upset that Wes did not get my clawfoot bathtub joke from Saturday last week.
I know it was so good. It was like he was
so proud of that, and then you forced me to explain it, man. Come on.
I mean, I was like, Wes, come on. He's doing a bit. He's doing a bit. recognize the bit. It was so good.
And Wes was full on like, okay. Like Drew, I don't know if you watched, but I started off being like, yeah, man, what I think I've done that's really exciting this past week is I decided to redecorate. But I'm doing work outside in my garden, and Wes is like, yeah, okay, well, so Josh, you kind of abandoned us for like months, and now you're back, and I'm like, yeah, Wes, I am back, and I'm excited to talk comics, but I really wish you would ask me what kind of work I'm doing in my garden.
I know, it was all set up. It was all set up, and he's like, I'm putting in a clawfoot bathtub.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, when the Gaiman story first broke, I think it was on I think it was like JDA that I first saw tweeting about it. And he was talking about like the bathtub thing. And then when I went and I looked into it, I did not pick up on any of that it was outside until later. So that made it even weirder. Like, first of all, it's already weird that you hire a new employee to babysit your kid. You hire a nanny to babysit your kids. And like within an hour of her working for you, you're like, I bet I draw you a bath.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, that's already weird, right? So the story was already weird. When I found out the bath is outside in the garden.
Yep. I mean, they wrote that the article presents it in a way that it's almost like it seems like it's purposely written that way, because I had to be like, wait. This bathtub is in the garden. Therefore, it is outside. Who says yes to this? Like, well,
yeah.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
And also, if they like, well, you know, it's like I was saying on Aficionados, you know, the women that tend to get caught up in these sorts of things, and the women that that these sorts of people target, tend to be very damaged, very easily manipulated women, you know, that don't have a lot of ability to stand up for themselves. And I don't think that takes away personal responsibility. I think that you still have to bear a certain amount of personal responsibility. And obviously there's a lot of different ways that these things can go, but that's the sort of women, strong, independent women that have the ability to say, I'm not taking a bath. What are you, some kind of freak? I'm out of here. Those women you don't hear stories about that, because those women don't get in those situations. They leave.
Yeah. Hightail it out of there.
Mm-hmm. And then it never really becomes a big deal, because you're like, yeah, the guy asked me to take a bath in his garden. It was weird. And everybody just goes, oh, that's weird. But since no crime was committed, nothing went further than that. That's kind of like where it ends.
Well, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I always try to think of what the next 5 steps would be in certain situations. When someone that I've only known for an hour is asking me to get naked and take a bath in their clawfoot tub that is outside in their garden, I'm automatically going, if I say yes, crazy shit is about to go down. Not like
at the very least, wouldn't you be like, oh, they've got a camera or something and they're going to record it? Like, you know,
I mean, but you know, once you say yes to that and then strip naked and start taking baths in said garden with the person you just met while you're supposed to be watching their kid, you know, you can't be surprised when you're then like, oh, he jizzed on my face and I don't know how that happened. I told him no. Well, you know, there's certain points where I would have said no and left, so like way before that.
Do you think that like we should actually write, Josh, a Neil Gaiman movie where just as her face gets splattered, it freeze frames and it goes, "Yep, that was me." You're probably wondering how I found myself in this situation.
100%. Yeah.
I don't mean to. I mean, I don't mean to make light of it, but that is like that is that moment. That is that moment where it's like, okay, there was a whole lot of red flags up until this moment.
Yep.
That you know probably should have tipped you off. And I'm sure that's how he thinks he can get away with it, is because it's like, well, she said no here, but I wore her down. She said no here, but I wore her down. She said no here, but I wore her down. You can't be worn down. You have to stand your ground.
Yep. No means no. No means no. Stick to it. Stick to your
nose. And
this
isn't even like the Aziz Ansari situation where like I know I have a bunch of female friends that read that whole girl's account of like what
that was a bad date. That was just a bad date.
That's exactly what they said. They go, "Oh, honey, you just had a bad date. Like, you know, you had a really bad date." And like I had female friends that were like, "Okay, I don't know how you didn't think that he wouldn't think that the date was going well after you blew him the second time.
Yeah.
Maybe the first he was like, I don't know if she likes me. I don't know if she likes me that way. But by the second, and then maybe the third, he was going, this is going all right. I think I might have sex tonight.
Yep. Pretty much. What I also love is the people that are like, oh, this, referring to Neil Gaiman, oh, this is just like Warren Ellis. I'm like, bitch, no, it is not.
It's nothing like Warren Ellis.
Warren Ellis had groupies in his like little, you know,
he was hypnotizing
fan club. Yeah, they were sending him pictures of their boobs, trying to get his attention so he would spend time with them. And guess what? It worked.
It worked.
You're mad that it happened.
Well, you're mad that the guy that you were trying to use for whatever reason used you better.
I mean, yeah.
It's just like the story. I mean, callback to comics is Mad Love. Harley Quinn the whole time. Harley Quinzel, she was playing the system. She was playing her teachers. You know, she was doing all these playing her professors. Had the one up on all of them until she got played by a playa, the Joker. Joker started playing her. That's what happened. Player got played.
And look, I mean, I hate to say it. You know, it's like we all know. You know, it's like we Josh and I have both been out here in La La Land. We've seen plenty of stuff. We've seen how people behave. You know, I've seen people who look, usually I'm a really good judge of character. Occasionally I get fooled. Someone in my life recently that I thought was a certain way. I ended up finding out a bunch of stuff about him. And it's one of those things where it's like, you find out that one thing and then it recasts every story they've ever told you.
Yeah.
And you start going like, wait a minute, you know, this is just all, you know, so there's people that create their own fiction around the things that they do. So, you know, we're always like, you know, hey, let's wait for all the story to come out. Let's wait for, you know, for everything to be revealed. Let's see if there's any kind of like court case, you know, things like that. But there is a time too, when you go, okay, this is like the 8th person to come forward with a very similar story. You know, maybe where there's smoke, there's some fire.
Yeah. I mean, like, hired as a staff writer for Glee, gets to meet the Glee cast, 13 episodes into season 1. Have full conversations with Mark Salling about, like, you know, what are you eating to stay this thin for this show? Oh, sweet potatoes. Fast forward 5 years, 6 years, and it's like, oh, by the way, this dude just got arrested because of kiddie porn. Okay, well, you know what? Everything that I've ever talked to you about before, ever, I'm a little weirded out now.
I know somebody who claims that one of the cast of Glee roofied her. Fortunately, panicked and didn't get anywhere with it, but roofied her.
I wouldn't be shocked. There was a lot of, I mean, I thankfully was there.
But also, this is also one of those people who, looking back at recasts, like you're going like,
oh yeah, how true is this?
Yeah. So what do you, or what framework is put around this to make you look better?
Yeah, I was there for like a whopping month before we all got fired. So showbiz people. So I was there in the early days before shit really got crazy. Now, one of my good friends was there for the entire bit of it because he was the lead of Hair for it. But an interesting shit. But yeah. Oh, who knows? Hollywood. Josh,
are you coming to MegaCon? Can you come to MegaCon?
There's no way I would be able to go to MegaCon.
Shit.
I mean, and it's strictly because work. Like, they're not letting anyone take vacations right now because we're so understaffed. Not even my branch, but our whole market is so understaffed. So, sadly, no. But I've got Dallas approved already, so Dallas is a done deal. Like,
awesome.
And I'm there for the entire. I'm taking Monday through Monday. So I'm there the whole week leading up to it, plus the weekend of the convention.
I think I might want to do that too.
Me too.
Come very close to it.
Yeah. So just kind of putting that out there, putting that in the ethos. But yeah, like, I'm kind of bummed because one of the things I was also really looking forward to this year is Vegas, and I don't even know if I'm going to get to do Vegas. So
when is Vegas?
It is the week of WrestleMania. So.
Wow,
But
WrestleMania weekend.
yeah.
Well,
But
hey, MegaCon, that's Sunday. That's Super Bowl Sunday. So.
speaking,
Yeah, but
yeah.
but I don't care about the Super Bowl. I care about WrestleMania.
Oh.
Well, is the Super Bowl going to be in Florida though, or no?
No, I think it's in Louisiana. I think.
Okay, so the whole Vegas thing is WrestleMania is in Vegas, so they're doing the meetup at the same time. Vegas,
Oh,
is there,
geez.
or WrestleMania's there. Yeah.
Oh, geez, the hotels are going to be insane.
Oh yeah, but part of me was like, and again, the reason I'm most likely not going is because of work. But I was part of me being like, well, if I do end up getting to go, like I might as well try to go to WrestleMania. So I pulled up tickets because I was curious. I was like, let me look at WrestleMania tickets. So I pull it up and it's like $960. Like, oh shit, let me get some like nosebleeds. And then I'm like, holy fuck, those are the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's just get the pay-per-view at that point.
Yeah,
it's going to be better.
I'd rather be on a couch with some buddies, with some pizza.
Yeah. You don't even need the pay-per-view anymore. Just get Peacock. Like, there you go. You half the price of what you used to pay for an individual pay-per-view, you get everything WWE.
Oh, I know, it's so good. I can't wait for the Royal Rumble. I'm psyched.
Oh, same. That's always been my favorite. I'm a big fan. So, but yeah.
I hope they have some good surprise. I know it's hard to do surprises anymore because of the internet, but I hope they have a couple of good surprises for us.
I do too, and it's interesting because I was thinking about this, but there's so many. They've got so many big names there now that once you factor in who needs to be in the Rumble to make it a good Rumble, you then are like, oh shit, there's really not a ton of space for surprises. Like, oh, okay.
They can always pull a swerve, like they can do the 30th man, and you're like, all right, it's cool. And then like all of a sudden the buzzer can come off again, and then you get if you smell, and you do like The Rock has used his board power to be like the 31st person in there.
That would actually be pretty entertaining. Mm-hmm. And low key, just the idiot in me, and look, I get some people hate this, but I can't wait to see what they do with R-Truth. I think he's fucking hilarious at every Rumble. And it's just like you've had so many different things between him showing up and acting like it's a tag team, so he's on the apron with a rope, like tag me in, to him running in, setting up the ladder, climbing up, and being like, "Where's the belt?"
When he entered the women's Rumble,
and that's what I'm going to say to him showing up in the women's Rumble in his actual number that he's going to come out in the men's, shows up as that entrance number, gets in the ring, he's like, "Where's the men?" Like
you understand why he's been there so long, even when they're not using him.
The guy is a freaking genius. Like, he is comedy gold. So yeah. Oh god, I love it. Oh gosh. We've
avoided talking about Dazzler.
Well, I mean, for obvious reason. Oh, look who showed up.
George.
Yeah, George.
Hey,
Max is being a little loser and didn't do a show tonight, so it's fine.
Max is like, I gotta get my sleep so I can be on my Sunday show with all my harem.
Hey, I like his harem.
No, his harem's great. But
yeah.
His all married harem.
I mean, practical. Well,
actually, no. Steph's not married.
Steph's not married. Yeah. Steph and I are single, and we're perfectly fine with it. Thank you very much.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But no, I know he's been pretty damn busy, so I think he just needs to take a moment to just rest. So I happily took advantage of having the Friday night free so we could do this. But I'm sure he'll be back to the normal before too long. So if you do get a chance, though, on a serious note, maybe you just go send him a message and be like, "Hey, we missed you on Friday night." I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yeah. We miss you, Max.
We miss you, Max. Come back to us.
We miss you. We miss your musk. And after
I miss the old you.
After all this is said and done, maybe you and me should get an apartment together.
Oh.
Champ, maybe just stop talking for a while.
I was gonna say we're reaching 11:30. I don't want to go too long because I do have to be up in the morning for work. Womp womp
I have to be up for
Womp womp.
aficionados.
I know. Do you know who all's going to be on yet? Did you get to?
I don't know. I mean, I assume obviously Doc. I assume Jim.
Let's see if
Aside from that,
Maybe-
I don't know. But
Maybe
but I know
Pele.
that
Maybe
Pele. I haven't seen Pele
Oh,
on there
gosh.
in a while.
It
like
took
2
like
years.
a year and a half to stop getting comments that said, "Where's Pele? When's Pele coming back?"
Oh, you were there for all that? I wasn't. I was kind of
Oh,
watching, but
Yeah,
I wasn't
no.
on yet. I think
The
maybe I
best-
was on one show with Pele. Maybe. one.
Oh, I did quite a few with Pele.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Yeah, me too.
I have no problem with Pele. I got along with him fine, but I understand.
I don't either.
Like I fully back Wes that like things were getting said that were demonetizing his streams, and that's Wes's source of income. And when you ask something nicely and it doesn't happen, then yeah, you have every right to go, dude. Like, show a little respect for me, please.
Mhm.
He hasn't put the stream up yet, so I don't know who's going to be there. Usually he's got it up the day before, so you can go check. But
Oh, does it has our names on it usually? I didn't even know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
it
usually
does.
has the panel in his description. So
I know we're having Matt Moylan from Udon on tomorrow. So
oh, nice.
And the episode I do know is sponsored by Blame Canada Publishing.
What?
Sponsored by
episode-
Blame Canada Publishing, the publishers
Oh,
of Aftermath.
Yeah. Aftermath is gonna.
Yeah.
Spencer Boykin. Yeah, they're gonna be sponsoring tomorrow's episode.
Nice.
You know what? Can Wes start doing it like I don't know, like Ben Shapiro? Can he start doing the sponsorships like where he just like goes into the commercial or
Like it's like a segue,
Oh,
segueing into
yeah.
it.
I always just say it's brought to us by Coffee Brand Coffee.
Yeah.
Brand coffee.
Mm-mm. We've just got
Speaking of stress,
Josh. We just have our premium roasts for this, our springtime roasts. You're gonna love it.
gonna love it. That's extra flowery for you.
For April Fool's Day, we have our delicious Harley non-fart branded
Oh, God.
cinnamon swirl coffee.
It's a fartacular, guys.
That's probably gonna be one of the so I've been on Max's the Friday show the past 3 Fridays, but just because of the topics. The week that comes out, I might have to be like, I'm coming on your show and you're just gonna have to suck it up, Buttercup.
I might have to come on the show too.
It's like
But
I
we
have
just
shit
might-
to say.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah. That's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so fucking bad. I'm dreading the day that arrives. April Fools.
It almost like retroactively goes through time and makes me hate comics altogether.
There's a lot. There are a lot of comics that'll do that.
Mm.
So when we were doing our top 10 or our top list, when I was pulling my worst books, I was going through fits of just pissy rage because I was trying to like revisit books to figure out what I was gonna put there, and I was like, this fucking bullshit. Oh man. Yeah, you reach those moments where you're just upset, and then because I'm gay, my voice just gets higher pitched, like screeching ferret tones. No good. I am gonna start moving towards wrapping us up so I can go walk my munchkin because he's getting a little restless and looking at me like, hey, shithead, it's been 3 hours, let me go pee. Drew, was there any other book from this week that you wanted to bring up before we start wrapping up?
Can you bring up the screen again?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold, please. I'm gonna do this. There we go. There we go. Booyah.
Why does it sound familiar? Why does what Drew's doing sound familiar?
It sounds like a retardo version of Jeopardy, but not.
But I feel like it's something I saw in a movie somewhere where somebody's doing
maybe.
that.
Cable Guy, Jim Carrey.
Oh, that's right. That's what it is.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't seen that in so
Look at
long.
the good. There's a good cover on Amazing Spider-Man this week, and it's a shame because I know that it's just wrapped around in absolute
yeah.
shit.
We already talked about that hot mess.
Yeah, Deadbeat Peter. It's awesome.
Yeah. Trash.
Oh, Void Rivals is out this week. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah. I will say the best issue I did read this week was G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was fucking awesome. It was Destro versus Cobra Commander. It was amazing.
Are you talking regular G.I. Joe or are you talking a real American hero G.I. Joe?
Oh, a real American hero.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that cover. That looks great.
That is a great cover.
You know what? That actually happens in the book. A cover reflecting what happens in the interior.
Larry's pretty good at that. Yeah, G.I. Joe's real American hero is pretty damn good at that.
Yeah.
Yep. That or it does happen in the book, but it's like the last page of the book, so therefore they give away the cliffhanger ending.
This is
on the cover.
This is the whole damn book, and it's illustrated by Chris Mooneyham. There are pages in this book. It looks like Bill Sienkiewicz did them. They are absolutely beautiful. And,
yeah.
He's no. It has got me. It has got me so like. It has got me so. I mean, obviously, I was already buying the G.I. Joe figures, but I am like so into the classified stuff because of what's going on with G.I. Joe through Skybound. I'm super into it. Hey, Distillery has a book out this week. Do you think it's going to come since they're Diamond exclusive and they already came out and said that they're sticking with Diamond. They're right in there.
Oh God, why? I hope Titan, bounces.
I think so many people are going to bounce. It's going to be. Yep. We haven't even seen the fallout yet. I think that's why they've moved up when they were going to start their whole process of trying to figure out how to pay vendors and how to restructure. And I think it's because they know there's a lot of companies that are going to pull out and never do business with them again. So if you depend upon them for your toys or for whatever it is you depend on them, you're going to lose some of those vendors because they're not going to chance working with Diamond again.
Oh, yeah. So we'll talk when we go when we end the show. I may have some stuff. We'll talk.
Cool.
Nice. Oh yeah. Well, the Distillery book is Time Waits, written by Chip Zdarsky. So
Oh no, I think there's one. It looks like there's one called Life that's out.
Oh, okay. So I like Life. And yeah, it is. I look. I'm gonna be honest. I like Life.
That's okay. You can like it. It's not your fault that Distillery is a dumb company.
Oh, I think it's talking Life in general.
I mean, I'm really loving Life right now. I can't.
Life is great. Look, Zax is back and he's saying Aaron.
Wait, what? Yeah. What? Zax is here?
Yeah.
Zaxy. Hey, what's going on?
He stormed out earlier. It was a whole thing because he came in and then we had a Canadian here and I was cheating on him with another Canadian and it was sad. So
there's only room for one Canadian in the chat.
There's only room for one Canadian. Yeah. Oh, Moose. Anyways. Yeah, Drew. I don't know if I don't know if I went too fast.
No,
looking at that other stuff. But...
You can keep going, but really from what I read, a lot of the books this week were just
not great.
Okay. Yeah, not great, just okay at best. So the best of the week with West this week, it's going to be pretty small, I think.
Yeah.
It's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It do be like that sometimes. Is anybody reading Synap by Mad Cave?
No, I don't know.
Looks kind of interesting. This is the first I've heard of it. I might check that one out.
Where is it at?
It's just down the page.
Oh.
Let's see.
It's weird when you get to the sections that have just like a bunch of white covers. They're just kind of like
Prairie Gods was good. Yeah, I would recommend Prairie Gods.
Oh, yeah. I need to completely catch up on that because I'm behind. I was gonna say there's stuff that I don't know if it was shipping issues or what that my comic shop didn't have.
Yes, there's been news coming out, I guess, because of the Diamond and everything. A lot of shipments are being received late at stores. So
because I didn't see Vicarious there, and I've been reading it. It's a Ryan Parrott book that I'm not gonna say is great yet, but it has potential to really go places if they deliver on the setup. Like I said, I actually like Life, and that wasn't there, so I didn't pick it up.
Did you guys know that apparently they've quietly snuck a male writer in on Harley Quinn?
What?
No.
Yeah, but apparently he He was a head writer for the Netflix Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh God.
I mean, it's still. I don't think that the problems with Mystery Science Theater 3000's reboot were the writing. I think it was Jonah Ray is a charisma vacuum. Felicia Day is, she was all right. But Patton Oswalt sucks.
Yeah.
And and like sometimes they didn't really let the jokes breathe. There was too many rapid fire.
Can't be doing that in MST3K a lot. You can't.
Yeah, you got to leave a little bit of room for the laugh or the chuckle.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's
how
about all he's
sad.
written.
The guy's a head writer for a show, and the best he can get is the book that they give to people like T. Franklin.
Yeah.
Great job, DC. You guys are doing Fire and Ice 2 with Joanne Starer. The Mystery Science Theater guy gets T. Franklin's sloppy seconds.
I was gonna say Stephanie Phillips sloppy seconds.
Even I know. I was like, I kind of wanted to go with the whore.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Agreed.
That works. I'll allow it.
Don't get mad at me for saying she is a professional whore. That's what she does.
Yes, yep. She's proud of it.
She is proud of it. She says it all the time. Sex work is a positive thing, according to her.
I would, it's just maybe it's because of the hour.
Sex work tests positive. We know that.
Yes.
Maybe it's because of like the hour right now. My creativity's fluctuating, but I would just love to see an artist, do a commission of T. Franklin in a wheelchair blowing some guy. I think that'd be hilarious.
I think you have been up too late.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird when she's like meeting with an editor and then she has to take a call from one of her Johns?
Oh God. I can't with you.
She'd be leading with like the My Little Pony editor. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch a story about this pony, and it'll be really good for kids. And hang on.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. What up? I have not been reading this. I do want to check it out because it is Chris Condon.
Sucked. This issue. This issue. Oliver Queen. So there's a serial killer in the city. The serial killer is killed, and Oliver Queen is defending the serial killer the whole time. It's like, oh, it's not her fault. It's because of the system. This all happened to her. It's pretty much the whole issue of Oliver defending the serial killer that was killed by the police. And the police are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is a murderer, and you're defending a murderer. And it's like, yeah, Oliver, I think if you think critically about this, Oliver's in the wrong with this. And most people would be like, yeah, Oliver, no, you cannot defend a serial killer in this.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I will say, Torrin Clark, if this is the type of covers this dude's going to deliver, give him more. I think that's a great cover.
Yeah, it's a good cover.
Sadly, the issue, not so much.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that they're putting production people in the credits of these books now sometimes?
Yeah.
That's kind of that's kind of nice. Like that they but in New Comics This Week they put that up.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, we're going to start wrapping things up. So I'm going to Aaron, I'm going to start with you, buddy. Let's go ahead. Where are we with Kneel Before Doomface? Can people still go support it if they want to?
People can still go support it if they want to. We're going to be coming up on, as we get closer to the finish line, which right now everything is on track. Everything is on schedule. Knock on wood. Hope we don't have any problems, but it hasn't been that hard. It hasn't been that hard to stay on schedule. I don't know why people that have been professionals take so long. Some of these people should be way better at this than I am. This is my first one, and we're on time. We're on time so far. So I don't know what to tell you, but everything's coming in great. Renzo is killing it. Oscar is delivering on the covers or on the colors. The book looks so damn good. I want to show off everything, but if I show off everything, then I give away the entire book and I give away all the great moments. So even the stuff that I'm showing off, it's often cropped, so you can't see like the next panel or like what happened or what it's leading to. But it's It's so good. This book is going to be so good. I cannot wait to get it out to everybody. I cannot wait till I have it in my hands and that people start getting it and they start reading it. So we will be doing a second chance offer, but it is still up right now. You can jump in and do late pledges, and please do, and please tell your friends and turn them on to it.
Yeah, I'm saying you're so close to 20,000 that I would love to just see you get that 20,000 mark.
Yeah. It's like, when we do our next push, I'm sure it'll hit. We'll make a little bit extra.
For sure. Anything else going on with you that you want to share?
Planning on going to MegaCon, hanging out with Drew, pushing Aftermath, pushing all of our books at TCM Press that we're doing, meeting and greeting people about Kneel Before Doomface. I haven't made up anything special for that show because I didn't know I was going until like last minute. I don't know what could be done, but maybe I could throw together something for it. But just looking forward to hanging out with everybody. I mean, Nerdrotic's going to be there. Drinker's going to be there. There's going to be like a lot of big get-togethers. So it'll be fun. Do some hang out with X-Ray Girl and
X-Ray Girl.
X-Ray Girl.
X-Ray. I wish I could go to Meg. Like I think I'm gonna plan to try to go for 2026 just because I've wanted to go and then haven't because I've prioritized other things. And then this year, like my plan was to do Vegas and then Dallas because Wes is coming. But gotta
do Dallas.
Dallas is a requirement. Like that is the must for me this year. So if I'm getting time off, I'm making sure it's that week first, and then we'll figure everything else out from there. But yeah, no, I'm excited for you. I'm glad you had your Tom Taylor expedition to a cabin in the woods to do some writing.
No, but what I wrote was good. So it's not really a Tom Taylor thing.
That's what I was going to say. I hope what you wrote is good. But yeah, no, I'm excited for everything that you got going on, and then I'll have to catch the playback tomorrow morning with you on Aficionados, but it will happen. Drewski, I guess so. I'm going to come back in just with a reminder on what we were showing at the very beginning, but we've got some great stuff coming out with Aftermath for you at MegaCon, since we're talking about MegaCon. So just a reminder here. And then once again, I've got Comic Kingdom Creative, the link in the description for this video. So go support them and then make sure you follow the socials so you can stay tuned with all this. But tell people where they can find you if they want to find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick. You can find me on Facebook, Dolan Waddick. Or you can find me at MegaCon along with Aaron Sparrow at TCM Press booth with the Comic Men, where you'll see me over at the Comic Kingdom Creative booth signing Aftermath copies. Or you'll see me signing Symbiote Willie comics, because apparently there's going to be some Symbiote Willie variants there. It's be a ton of stuff they're discovering that I've worked on that's going to be available. But come by, say hi to all of us, get some books signed. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a huge weekend. I can't wait for you guys to see this book, Aftermath. I'm incredibly proud of it. I know Aaron is proud of this too, because he's really digging it. I cannot wait to hold it in my hands. I can't wait to actually read this. Just please, I encourage you, check this out. It is going to be worth every bang of your buck.
Absolutely. As for me, if you want to find me, you can find me at Joshua L. McDonald on Twitter, where you'll see me talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, I talk about comic and nerd stuff there, but I talk about everything else too. Politics, rugby, Henry Cavill, how Max sometimes is a faggot, but not really because we love him. Who knows? Who knows what's going to come up on at Joshua L. McDonald? Or if you want to keep things nerdy, just follow me at ByPopped for stuff related to the channel. And stay tuned to the show. We're back on our regular Tuesday schedule when I have power, unlike this week. But we've got some good stuff coming up. So coming up Tuesday, we've got our comic book club. So we are doing Swamp Thing, Alan Moore Swamp Thing book 1. And I'm super excited to get this started and going. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got Drew that is going to be there with me. And we've got another first timer coming in, but I've got Salty Traveling C coming in to discuss it. I've got Jem from Weird Science coming in to discuss it. Another newcomer, Sammy Threepeat, he's also going to be there to discuss the book. So it's going to be a really good time, and I can't wait to cover this story and get through it. Max might be there. We're trying to decide if he's cool enough to join the club. So we'll see. Mainly Max has to see if he can read the book in time. That's the real thing. But yeah, so we've got that coming up. Immediately following that, the first Monday of the month, we have Marvelous Monday coming back with X-Men from 2000. We'll have our discussion with that. We may or may not talk a lot about Rebecca Romaine and the lack of clothing that she wears and how bad Jennifer Lawrence looks compared to her as far as Mystique goes. So tune in for that. We talk about other things too. A lot about the relationship between Charles and Magneto, and mainly does the film hold up? And that's the crux to come in and see. Other than that, the first why are you laughing?
You okay, totally unrelated, but you said the you started talking about the relationship between Magneto and Charles. And in my head, yeah. I immediately flashed to the Rob Hubel as Magneto and Pete Holmes as Xavier, and in my head it came like I just saw Magneto going, "Eat a dick, Charles."
It probably happened at some point in their time together. The first Tuesday of what month? Oh, February. Yes, the first Tuesday of. See, this is what happens when you're tired and you're reading January, but this is the video that you do after January ends. The first Tuesday in February, we'll be covering the top 5 comics of January 2025. That is where that show will live. It will always be first Tuesday moving forward. That way we're on time with our top 5, which is never a top 5. We always have more. But it's nice to have the problem of there's too many good books that we have to include more than 5. So
although maybe it will be lower. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see. I've got to read my January books for debuts, so I've got my stack over there. We'll see what happens. And that is pretty much it for tonight. So we're gonna wrap things up, and I will say thank you to everyone who tuned in, and we will see you guys shortly. After the live is done, make sure you like, share, go comment in the actual comment section, not the live chat, but go leave a comment for us. It helps out with the algorithm. And unfortunately,
tell people I actually showed up at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. No, Aaron was here, guys. You missed it. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun tonight. It was fun, kind of doing a cross between Culture Popped and comic book conversations. And yeah, I will see you guys on Tuesday for Swamp Thing. So until then, good night and good luck, or something like that. All right, bye, y'all.